Welcome, esports race fans, to another broadcast from the Nerd TV crew. This time it's 2022 Season B for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Cup Series, presented by Mach1 Performance, new sponsor on board for the Cup Series here for the Full Throttle Sim Racing. And we're at Charlotte, of course, as you see on this track right now. This past Wednesday, we kicked off the points with the trucks. And the Cup cars are now, it's their turn in the longest race of the season, 200 laps around this 1.5 mile. Track temps right now about 85 degrees, clouds in the sky, about 77 degrees in the air, and about 8 miles an hour is coming from the northwest. My name is Jeremy Stanley, aka J Stan, and it's usually Pashibi next to my right, but this time I got our producer on board, Mr. Dustin Loxton. How you doing over there?
Hey, how is it going? The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. J Stan, Jeremy Stanley. Been a long time since I've called that name out in the broadcast booth, so just happy to be here. Looking forward to an awesome season. Starting it off at Charlotte with one of the crown jewels, the longest race in the schedule at 300 miles. And Charlotte always poses some badass racing, especially with these full throttle sim drivers. I expect nothing less for tonight. The Truck Series race was awesome. Definitely look for some good racing tonight.
Man, it's been a long time since I've heard that name being called out for myself. These guys out here listening, if you are listening right now, are probably not used to that. So with Dustin next to me, you know you're going to be hearing that more than once. But this is a 13-week schedule. Same thing as last season, but it's extended 1 week due to the fact that 4th of July happens to fall on a Monday. So we'll be off that Monday. But outside of that, it is a 13-week schedule. Let's see if Richie Coy can defend his 2022A season championship in this Cup Series, now presented by Mach1's Performance. And, you know, Dustin, I was kind of surprised. There's a lot of mix-up here in the teams.
Yeah, it is. I mean, team-wise, I mean, you're always expecting to see the same, teams up there. The thing that I'm looking at is some of these paint schemes. I like how these teams are really starting to get in line with each other. One of them is Rumble Racing. I mean, they have matching paint schemes out there. You know what team they run on. And Rumble Racing definitely looking to come out here and perform strong again for the 2022 B season. Looking to try to chase down that Fury Motorsports team for sure, which we know is always strong when they come here, especially housing the defending Mach1 Performance Cup Series champion, Mr. Richie Coy. So definitely looking to see what these teams can bring to the tracks for this 13-week season, 14 if you count the off week.
Yeah, Jonathan Varanaskis and Alex Murphy, part of Rumble Racing, basically identical skins. Martin Garreau and that number 50, he's got a brand new skin. It's a little different than his teammates, but it is completely different from the last time, other than basically the color combinations. And then Moreau Motorsports, they picked up 2 drivers during that 1 week off season. Nicholas Moreau and Matthew Tremblay coming back from last season. And then the new guys, which I do believe they are relatives, Mr. Matthew Vajan and Jonathan Vajan, if I am pronouncing that correctly. Correct me if I am wrong, but it's a 4-car team now. So these guys are looking to put a dent into this season, try to contend for the championship.
Yeah, well, and the biggest thing is they seen how the team atmosphere and the aspect really helped out when you got more drivers to help nail down these setups. You tend to be able to bring faster hot rods to these races. And it's worked out in the past for a lot of these teams for Full Throttle Sim Racing in both the Mach1 Performance Cup Series as well as the Sim Racing Points Truck Series. So what better way to, take away from that and build your team and come in here with the full roster?
Yeah, definitely. And when you bring in 4 drivers total, that's a lot of information to bounce around, not just 2 people. So more hands, the better when it comes to making these setups. You get feedback from a lot of people. You make it into one perfect blend, and it's going to be a sweet ride. And definitely keep your eye out for that team, Moreau Motorsports. That really fast Fury Motorsports with Richie Coy leading the way. Tony Solari kind of fell off in that back half of last season. And, Brody Hanna, I don't think he's going to be making much of these races in this Cup car. I think he's focused on the trucks, but he's there for team support. He does work in the background, working on these setups for Richie and Tony. They're going to try to, repeat and get that championship for that team and for their drivers. So keep an eye on that as well. And speaking of which, the practice has concluded. So all that means to you guys, it's time for us to get our faces off the screen and start thanking some people that allow us to do this every Monday and Wednesday night for you guys for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series. And the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series is the first people we always like to thank, because without them asking for us to do this, we're not here. So much appreciate you guys over there at ftsr.net. They've been around since iRacing since 2017. Been doing this as a league in total since 2006. And this is the conclusion of only week 1. So if you have not signed up yet and you're still looking to be a part of a really good group of racers and try to contend for any type of championship, this is the place to do it. You're going to head over to ftsr.net. Sign up for one of their 4 series. They have Cup Series, which is tonight, Trucks on Wednesdays, ARCA, which is a free entry on Thursday, and then the Saturday mix of the Lotus 79 and the Pro 4 Super Trucks, alternating every other Saturday. That's also a free entry. So get in there, sign up for ftsr.net. Shout out to Mach1 Performance. Sorry about that. The new sponsor for the Cup Series here every Monday night. It is a race car fabrication shop that was started by the late Johnny Coy Jr. The shop has produced championships and winners in all sorts of racing divisions, from the road circuits like SCCA and NASA to the dirt and pavement oval racing. So check out their products at Mach1 Performance. Shout out as well to the Sim Racing Points, the official Truck Series sponsor and a sponsor of the Nerditudes themselves. It's an all-inclusive league points management system that allows owners and admins the ability to completely track their league stats and points with one simple upload. They have full screen pages, widgets, anything you need to display all the little different stats that they have available in their software. It's going to do it in a super clean format too. So go to simracingpoints.com, check out their pricing plans, and get your league updated with the best of the best today. Shout out to Motorsports, home of the sim gloves of all sim racing. They make the most breathable gloves in the sim racing world. Dustin and I both own a pair ourselves, and they definitely helped us perform. I've even ran faster lap times just because my hands are dry. They're grippy. They're right on the wheel. I don't have to worry about my sweaty palms getting in the way. They also make customized T-shirts, hoodies, hats, and nerd swag. I think it's like the final couple weeks, really, before our gauntlet gloves from the Nerditudes come live. So check out everything at martinsports906.com. And we have a nifty promo code, Super Nerd. If you're not used to it by now, you get a whopping 25% off anything you purchase from martinsports906.com.
What?
Thank you to iRacing. Going back to the Kenny days there. iRacing iFlag, official flag partner for the Nerditudes. You get that 64 light emitting diode LED matrix system. All that means it's a really bright LED box, about 4x6, 3D printed, sits on your desk, and it delivers all the iRacing commands and flags out there, about 30 different versions of it, of notifications, right in front of you. So it keeps your focus directly in front of the track because the system is bright enough. You know exactly what's going on at all times. You're going to head over to iRacingIFlag.com. Use that promo code SUPERNERD once again, this time for 15% off his product. Thank you to the Butt Kicker, the official audio enhancement provider partner for the Nerditudes. Gives you that real life gaming immersion from the sim, or from the real car into your sim rig. Produce that much needed feel from the car that drivers really need to perform at their peak performance. See their entire product line at thebuttkicker.com. A shout out to Moonlight Speed Concepts, the official paved setup provider for the Nerditudes. Professional like setups across the board, anything from the standard late models that iRacing offers all the way up to the Cup Series, anything asphalt oval related, and they're going to get you some much needed wins in your column. So please go to moonlightspeed.com and get signed up and join the Discord. It's a great community. Shout out to houseofspeed.us. Same thing as Moonlight, but on the dirt side. Professional like setups from all the dirt oval stuff that you're going to be racing. If you want some wins, definitely this is the place to go to purchase a setup and get your much needed wins as well. Once again, that's houseofspeed.us. Shout out to Nerd Focus, the official energy partner for the Nerditudes. They have two awesome flavors. The green one on your screen now is your sugar original variant, and then the blue one is the sugar free. Both are super tasty and keeps you hyper focused for whatever you have in front of you, whether it be homework or a really long session of gaming. So either way, use that promo code Super Nerd on their product for 10% off. All right, Dustin. Looks like qualifying just ended. That was perfect timing for those reads. And if we take us over that starting order for us.
Yeah, so taking the pole for the opening race is going to be none other than Nicholas Moreau. Outside row 1 is going to be Brian Dublé. Great qualifying effort for him. Inside second row for third place is going to be Brody Hanna. Fourth place is going to be Matthew Vachon. Richie Coy, your defending champion, will start grid P5. Chuck Sweeting, one of his favorite dancing partners, to the outside in P6. Martin Garreau starts 7th. Ryan Hedrick starts 8th. Jonathan Vachon starts 9th. And rounding out your top 10 will be the 14 Elaine Allen.
Matthew Tremblay starts in 11th place. Gil Goktu is outside in 12th. 13th place, you'll find Tony Solari. 14th place, Wayne Grassi. 15th place, James Wallace. 16th, Jonathan Varanaskis. 17th, Alex Murphy. 18th place, Joshua Johnson. 19th, Chris Beck. 20th, Chad Lang. 21st, Brian Bliss. And to round out tonight's field, Mr. Steve Loomis. Now, Dustin, this is Memorial Day weekend, and we'd like to do something for the fans out there because it is exactly this Monday on Memorial Day.
Absolutely. For all of the men and women that have served this country and paid the ultimate sacrifice, we thank you guys so much, again, in pursuit of freedom for this great country. So for that, until the pace car comes off the track, please join us in a moment of silence for all of those that have given the ultimate sacrifice.
All right, looks like pace car is down, waiting for this green flag to fly. Mr. Late Larry has the flag in hand. Green flag is out to open up 2022 Season B for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series, presented by Mach1 Performance. Nicholas Morel, great start there on the bottom. Gets a good launch into turn number 1, exiting turn number 2 with about 2 car lengths advantage over that second place car, Mr. Brian Dublé.
Yeah, Brian Dublé had an excellent start, though. Definitely kept up, but right now he's under a lot of heat from the 23 of Brody Hanna. Surprised to see that 23 out here, but I got to say, happy to see that 23 out here. As again, right now, the top 5 to 6 seem like they have single-filed out, about a car length and a half or so separate each driver.
You guys watch this each and every week, especially in the first half of the season. Versus Brody Hanna was on a tear. I think he won 3 of the first 4 Cup races, and decided, you know what, these cars aren't for me, even though he's bad fast with them. But I'm glad to see him out here as well. Continuing to run 3rd place right now, running pretty good speeds on same times as your race leader Nicholas Morel.
Yeah, Moreau definitely stretching that lead out, but I'm looking at this battle right now for about the 9th place position right now. The 25 of Matthew Tremblay is definitely moving, has already passed the 47 of Hedrick, and also ended up passing the 55 of Jonathan Vachon, all within about a straightaway or so. So 25 definitely on the move as well, but Jeremy, it looks like everybody's about single-filed out now, trying to get a feel for these cars to see exactly how their car is going to handle in the long run, as you see the 47 now trying to look to the inside of the 55 of Vachon.
There's a bunch of new skins out here, and that Matthew Tremblay, that 25 is, I love that skin, all chromed out, especially that number, 100% chrome. That thing's looking real nice.
47, wicked loose. Able to save
47.
it, though. Wow, what a save. Got wicked loose there. Looks like he tagged the apron just a little bit, Jeremy. Sorry to cut you off on that. Just happened to see it in the camera shot, but got wicked loose, was able to save it. But, man, is he going to lose a lot of positions.
Yeah, I was going back, and it looks like he lost about 10 positions from the middle of turn 1 and 2 all the way back to turn number 3. Actually lost 11 to 12 positions as Chad Lang passed him in turn 3. Man, that is huge. Hey, I'm glad that was an awesome save, and I'm glad he was able to make that save. But that was costly. That's 12 positions, and at a place like Charlotte, it's going to be hard to make that ground back up.
Yeah, but I tell you what, those that are trying to make that ground up right now is everybody sitting second place on back, because that 15 of Nicholas Moreau has stretched his lead out, Jeremy. He is on a tear right now in the early stages of this Charlotte 300 race. Still followed behind by the 37 of Brian Dublé, though. So Dublé still holding strong. Excellent showing for this season opener.
Yeah, we talked about in that pre-race, Mr. Nicholas Moreau and his 4-car team looking to make a challenge for that championship, and here he is coming up to lap number 7 of schedule 200 for the Charlotte race here, and he is on a tear, running just a half a second over second place Brian Dublé. And also, quick mention to Brian Dublé, great to see him up here. He had a pretty decent start first half of last season. Second half, he was about midfield, but right now he's showing some good muscle in the season opener.
Yeah, and right now, what I'm seeing, Jeremy, we had talked about, and you had made mention about the team aspect and how, the team's kind of shook up. And right now, you're seeing, really, there's 3 teams in there, but 2 teams have 2 drivers apiece in the top 5. Right now, you're seeing the battle right now with Fury Motorsports as Brody Hanna is going to the inside of Dublé. His teammate Richie Coy, defending series champion, right behind him. But you have Nicholas Moreau as well as Matthew Vachon, both with Moreau Racing in the top 5 as well. So excellent showing by the team aspect already in the early stages.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the communication is there. Martin Grove, Matthew running 5th and 6th, and these guys look fast. I know Martin Grove won 1 race last season. He's definitely looking to get more than 1 this season. And of course, the new guys, the Vachons, I'm assuming they're brothers. I would imagine they're wanting to look up and show what they're worth here for the Throttle Sim Racing guys, especially like the veterans like the Richie Coys who just won that championship. They want to say, hey, look at me, I'm going to be your new challenger here for season 22 or 2022 season B.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, they're doing an excellent job. I mean, you got, with both Vachons, you got Matthew right now running top 5, and you got Jonathan running 8. So both of those, we believe brothers. Both of those drivers, though, definitely, relation, running top 10 right now. Strong showing right now for, Moreau Racing. And Fury Motorsports, having a good showing as well. Right now, Tony Solari back there in 14th. Down 1 position from where he started, but it's still early, Jeremy.
Brody Hanna getting it real sideways as well on the exit of turn number 4. Able to save and not lose too much ground. He's still only 0.366 back from your race leader, Nicholas Moreau. Ahead of his teammate, Mr. Richie Coy, who has now took over 3rd place in the 19-gear wrench car as he's heading to turn number 3.
Yeah, and right now would be the time that we're really going to see what Nicholas can do, because he's got 2 Fury Motorsports drivers back there, one of which being the defending series champion. He knows they're fast. He's logged a number of laps with these drivers, so he knows what to expect. So this is going to be the time whether we can see him be the Iceman and be cool and calm and hit his marks, or if having those drivers back there, might sit here and push a mental mistake, early stages of this race.
Yeah, it's such a long race too, so hopefully there's nothing too drastic early on. I mean, if you do, you spin it out. Hopefully you're like a Kyle Larson from yesterday. You're able to just not hit the wall and continue on and get back to your position. This is a long race. This is the longest race of the year that Full Throttle Sim Racing puts on. Kind of similar to the Coke 600 that they just ran last night, but we're not running 600 miles. We're running 300, so half the distance, as always, 50% every time these Cup guys get on the racing track, which is 200 laps for you tonight. No stages, though. It's all just one nice long run. But going back to that race lead, really, the 26, Mr. Matthew Vachon, putting some pressure on Richie Coy and Brody Hand on that Fury Motorsports team.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Nicholas wants to see right now. He wants to see these two Fury Motorsports drivers, racing it out for position like they just did. You seen the 19 of Richie Coit officially take over that second spot. But right now, Matthew Vachon on the inside of the 23 of Hannah, looking to take over that spot, and he may try to take a little bit more as you see the 19 go down to try to block a little bit of that run there. But the 26 does officially take over third position, so that's exactly what Nicholas wants to see right now, because he knows, yeah, I got Richie Coy behind me, but I have a teammate right behind him.
What I noticed in 3 and 4 is that number 26 has some amazing amount of grip. Great turn through 3 and 4 here. You see him right here. Let's watch him get back to the back bump of the 19. Right here, turn number 4 special. Just get some good solid run off the corner. Going to get this draft, and you might contend for that second spot here. Entering turn number 1. Nope, does not go for it this time, but he moves up the track this time. He runs the middle groove here. He gets a nice little angle. Not many cars can make that cut in the middle of the corner like that, and that's going to give some awesome straight speed and passes the 19 no problem.
So Mark, the 26 of Matthew Vachon, up to second place, right behind his teammate and race leader Nicholas Moreau, followed by the 19 of Richie Coy, Fury Motorsports, and Brody Hanna. So again, it's not only a battle of drivers, but we're seeing a battle of teammates right here. But Jeremy, you and KB have called a number of these races. I've produced every race as well. We know a lot of these drivers, they think long haul here, because these races have been known to go long green flag runs and even possibly caution free. So some of these drivers go into conservation mode to try to save those tires and fuel, and that's when you see them shine later in the run.
Yeah, I think the fuel window is about 55, 60 laps, somewhere in that ballpark, and it is 200 laps. So you have plenty of time to kind of figure out your car. You make some changes down pit road, make sure you do it. Because pit stops are going to be vital, because, as you just said, there is not many cautions for the Full Throttle Sim Racing. And if you need to make adjustments, you have to do it on the fly. Unless you got a spotter that's able to do it for you. If you're one of those drivers who're just running solo, like you, Wayne Grassi, pit stops are definitely pivotal. And speaking of Wayne Grassi, just inside this top 10, he's actually making a little charge here as he's coming up to the first of the 4 Moreau Motorsports cars at 55 of Jonathan Vachon.
Yeah, just cracked the top 10, up 4 positions from his initial starting position. One of the bigger movers of this race, only bettered by Matthew Tremblay, up 5 positions, now running 6th. And Jonathan Varanakis up 5 positions, running 11th, right behind Wayne Grassi. So again, he's on the move, and we know Wayne knows how to get it done, but he's one of those drivers that we were talking about that he usually shines at a later run like that, like a Richie Coy. They really start coming on, about midway through a run, towards the end of the run. That's when they really become dangerous.
Yeah, another guy that's going to be like that too is that 75 Chuck Sweeting. He's currently sitting in 7th place. I expect him this long run to start shining as well, as they're just outside of 20 laps completed in the season opener.
Yeah, right now, though, Chuck Sweeting kind of being held up a little bit by the 25 of Matthew Tremblay, as Tremblay's trying to get on the inside there of Martin Garreau. Does complete that pass, but does leave it open there for Chuck to put his nose on the inside. Now Chuck trying to move and advance up a position to that 6th place right now, as they are neck and neck going into the next corner.
That number 50, Martin Garreau, the first car in that Rumble Racing Chevrolet team, sitting nice inside the top 5, almost outside of it, as Chuck Sweeting puts on some great pressure. And Charlotte's always one of those tracks that produces great racing, and you're seeing these guys have been side by side for an entire lap this time. They do not want to give it up, and Charlotte has some good speed there on the middle upper lanes there. So if you can hook your setup just right to get some nice rotation on the top, you see that speed right there. The 50 just shot out of a cannon, almost is able to clear the 75 getting down the straightaway. But of course, the corner comes up. 75 gets that good run on the bottom, and this time it looks like the 75 was just about able to clear Martin Garreau exiting 4.
Yeah, he'll clear him going into turn 1 here, as he'll have that preferred line, as long as, again, Garreau does not get that run on that high side. It looks like Garreau's got a nice line going through that and is able to keep that speed up, but the 75 of Sweeting is able to clear him. So Mark Sweeting up officially to that 6th position. Again, he is on the move as well. He kind of fell back from the start, so he is currently at his starting position of 6th place. But again, Jeremy, this is when we start seeing them go in. You know, right now we are 24 laps into a run. This is where the setups are starting to set. This is where the drivers are really starting to get their niche a little bit. And this is where we're going to start seeing some of these drivers slowly work forward. Chuck Sweeting is definitely one of them.
Speaking of those drivers that get that niche after the fresh tires have worn off, and this is where your setup really shines. Going back to your race leader, Nicholas Moreau, 2-second advantage over his teammate Matthew Lachon there in that 26 machine. This team is putting on an absolute tear early on. Richie Coy, we're not used to seeing this. He is 3.5 seconds outside of these two new teammates. So right now, this long run setup that Moreau Motorsports has brought to the table this year is definitely working great for him right now.
Oh, absolutely. And that's no matter what happens with the remaining 174 laps of this race, either way, just coming out on the statement that this Moreau Racing team has been doing right now with, their teammates and how well they're running is a statement to the amount of work that these drivers and these teams have put into it. Last season, we seen Fury Motorsports, really be a powerhouse there, and they still are through and through. But it's amazing and awesome to see some of these other teams come up here that can challenge, because it makes the racing that much more exciting.
Oh, for sure. And that 75 Chuck Sweeting you mentioned a few laps ago, he's starting to really put the pressure on that 25. He's gained a couple spots here this past few laps. And he's looking to crack the top 5. As soon as he gets around this number 25, which 25 gets a little wiggle there on the exit of turn number 2, it allows that 75 of Chuck Sweeting to make that quick dive down to the bottom of turn number 3. And it looks like he's able to stick up at 23. Brody Hanna's going to check him up just a little bit and barely has enough room. That 75 clears the 25. He is now inside the top 5.
Yeah, officially in the top 5 for the first time tonight is a 75 of Sweeting. One thing that I noticed is he did move up to that higher lane approach going through the corner to get that good run off, and was able to pull low and hold that momentum to pass the 25. So Chuck Sweeting is a smart driver, just like a lot of these drivers out here. So you better believe that Chuck's going to put that in his back pocket. And if any of the other drivers were seeing that,
he has a great cut down there on the entrance to turn number 4 and allowed himself to get underneath the 23 of Brody Hanna. Makes the dive into turn number 1, able to clear the 23. I know the 23 and 25 make a little bit of contact, but they did not wreck. They keep it going straight. Thankfully, there was no incident there. But 75, Chuck Sweeting now inside the top 5 into 4th place, as now he has his eyes set on that 19, the highest running Fury Motorsports Ford Mustang, Richie Coy.
Yeah, I was watching this battle here between the 23 and the 25. They've been going at it there. Cutting left and right. It's almost looking like Days of Thunder sometimes with the way they're going, which would not be unexpected, especially at this track here. That this track poses and just presents that kind of racing. Is again the 25 right now, Tremblay trying to work on the inside of the 23, but like you said, Chuck Sweeting definitely on the move. He's got his target set right now on the back end of one of his favorite drivers to race with on the track, Mr. Richie Coy, because those guys always put on excellent racing, and so much respect between those two drivers. So again, on the move, Chuck Sweeting trying to chase down to crack that top 3.
Yeah, and for this 200 lapper, Chuck Sweeting and Richie Coy, I would not be surprised if these guys are in side by side or at least neck to neck for the most part of this long endurance race. I see Chuck get a really solid run here in turn number 3 and 4. Almost looks like the 19 is starting to fade a little bit. The car's looking really tight. Chuck's able to really make that corner happen, especially in the middle of 3 and 4. I've noticed in the past few laps. He's just able to drive into 3 kind of casually and then able to cut down, get a great launch off the exit of 4, and it gives him so much speed off that corner. When you carry that speed all the way through the straightaway, gives him a nice consistent lap time doing that. Just got to watch out for that tire wear. So we're about just over halfway in this tire run. You see that 75 actually get a little loose this time in front of the 19. He gets a little wibbly again on the exit of 4. So car's driving great, but he's on that edge of being almost too loose, it seems like.
Yeah, definitely driving it heavy off that right rear there at certain aspects, especially on corner exit by the looks of it. So definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on as this race goes on. Right now, though, almost 2.5 second lead over his teammate Matthew Vachon is that of Nicholas Moreau. He has been on a rail since the drop of the green flag 34 laps ago. He has led every single lap up to this point and does not look to stop anytime soon, Jeremy.
Now, give this guy a nerd focus. Quick shout out to them. To run these long races, you're going to need something like the Nerd Focus product. Use Super Nerd at checkout for 10% off any one of the 2 flavors you choose. And he's going to need that. And he's running qualifying laps all by himself, essentially, for the next 150 laps, as long as it continues to go his way, which right now it looks like that is the the current path for Moa Racing here, especially Nicholas, the team leader. Oh, 75. Chuck Sweeney gets heavy loose there in front of Richie Coy in that 19 exiting turn number 2 to allow them to go side by side on the backstretch.
And we were just talking about, that's something we need to keep an eye on because we had seen the 75 get real light in the ass end coming out of the corners there. Was definitely real big out of 2 and out of 4. And that one there was coming out of 2. And it just cost him right now 2 positions as he's side by side right now with the 25 of Tremblay. This is, again, like you said, we're over halfway through a fuel run right now, Jeremy. So this is when you're going to start seeing, as you see a wobble there again out of the 75. So this is when you're going to start seeing, what these cars have for the long run. And right now, I would definitely say it's a safe bet that Chuck Sweeting has got his hands full right
now. Definitely. And you're only going to get looser from here. I really think that this car, you're going to just continue to feel that looseness more and more. Unless something drastically changes on the track. But right now, the sky and the temperature and everything just kind of looks like it's going to remain the same. So that car is going to be feeling loose. I see him little wobble there again off of turn number 2. Quick mention, too, Brian Bliss, the only Toyota Camry out here in the number 18, has expired about 5 or 6 laps ago. Did have an issue off of turn number 4. Spun out and hit the inside wall just after pit road exit. So that number 18... Brian Bliss is the first car out of this race. Going to be finishing in 22nd.
And that's an unfortunate thing. Always root for Mr. Bliss there, especially being the only Toyota representing out there. So, again, left to go. We've seen Bliss in victory lane. He can rebound from that. I've been watching this 7 of Wayne Grossi, though. This is he has been on a rail up 7 positions right now. He is the biggest mover right now, tied. Well, nope, as Tremblay just passed, and Tremblay up 8 positions. Right now, Grossi is tied with Varanakis for 7 positions from their original starting. But he's on the move. He's up to 7th right now. Just got done passing Brody Hanna on the outside and looked very stable, Jeremy. Very stable.
And Wayne Grossi's only about a 10th or 2 off your race leader, Nicholas Moreau, as far as lap times currently right now. That's after passing 7 cars. So if these guys get a good restart or a good a reset here with a caution, I think this number 7 has something for that race leader in that 15.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you any more than that. Yeah, from what we have seen, he has been on the move since the drop of the green flag, but he has been very patient. A lot of drivers will push it hard early. He keeps it consistent all the way through. He's patient with it, and this is when he starts to shine. We're 41 laps into this run right now. And what could we say 20 laps ago, Jeremy? Some of these drivers that run mid to end of a run, that's when they come on strong.
Yeah, and you're definitely already seeing it with the Chuck Sweeting there. He was put on a great run and then got loose. You're seeing it with the 7 making some great strides here. Martin Garreau actually in that number 50 going around the inside of Richie Coy to take over 4th place. You don't see too many times where Martin Garreau outperforms Richie Coy there on the long run. But we're on lap number 42, and Martin Garreau is making the charge now in 4th place.
Yeah, and that raises a question. I don't know if it's just because we've gotten accustomed to that 19 being the target for everybody. As you see, the 19 gets a little loose coming off of turn 2 there. So definitely an ill-handling car, obviously not to his liking right now. But like I was saying, I don't know if it's because we're so used to everybody targeting that 19 because, the performance he put on last season, But I mean, right now, even so, Richie Coy's running top 5. That's still a solid running right now. It's just not what we are accustomed to seeing from that 19. But either way, I am happy to see a lot of these other drivers that we haven't had the chance to call their name are really coming out right now and really making a showing.
Whenever you set the standard, you can never just be the standard the whole time. There's going to be someone who goes, you know what, I can do this a little bit better than you can, and here it is. And it's showing. Murrow Motorsports definitely put on that tear, as Fury Motorsports now has something to kind of stride for. They were the best of the best, but right now, they're not. I mean, at least in one race, anyways. Of course, when we get to race 2 and 3, we'll see exactly. But right now, in the opening race of Charlotte, they definitely have a good, solid performing team at the moment. And Wayne Grossi just passed Mr. Chuck Sweeting now for 6th place. That puts him 8 positions up from the starting spot.
Yeah, 8 positions up. That ties him with Tremblay for the most advanced driver of the race so far. And right now, Grossi is setting his sights on the 19 of Richie Coy. And if Richie's car is handling as ill as what we have seen on the screen, Wayne should be able to, chase him down and put some pressure on and see if he can't try to crack the top 5 for the first time tonight.
Another mover here, the other Rumble Racing car, the number 27, Jonathan Varanaskis. He just passed Chuck Sweeting as well. It's going to put him in 7th place. Also going to be up 9 positions since the drop of the green flag 46 laps ago. So Rumble Racing in general has a pretty good, solid, long-running car here.
Yeah, and that's what, like I said, we're 46 laps into this first run. This is where you are really going to see who some of your big threats are going to be. Like we had said, Full Throttle Sim Racing is known for long green flag runs, even caution-free races, flag to flag. So this is where you're going to see your big threats, because if they are a threat on the long run and if the races go in that fashion, those are going to be the ones you want to keep your eye on when it's getting down to the last 20 laps of the race.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a good showing point right now. We're 47 laps in. Obviously, we know who's got the long-running car right now, that being with Murrow Motorsports and Rumble Racing. They're definitely shining right now. As a couple laps ago, too, Matthew Tremblay took over 3rd place, or has been in 3rd place, rather, for a little bit. So 3 of the 4 cars from Murrow Motorsports is now 1, 2, and 3, and the last one is in 9th place, being Jonathan Vachon. His car is running a little tight, Dustin. I don't see any damage to that thing, but I think he used and abused his tires a lot more than his teammates. Even though the teammates have been up front and putting on some blistering laps, whenever you're back mid-pack and going through some cars, sometimes it bites you in a little bit, and right now it's shown in that 20 or the 55 rather.
Yeah, and we've seen that in the 75 of Chuck Sweeting as well. He had to he fell back and worked his way back up a little bit, passing multiple cars. You tend to have to run lines that your car is not set up for, meaning you have to make cuts, you have to run lanes that are going to be a little bit more abrasive for your tire wear, and that's where you end up paying the price, is towards the tail end of that run there. The only thing that Chuck can hope is that he can nail a pit stop, and the 55 of Jonathan Vachon as well, as they can nail a pit stop, make up some of that time in the pits, re-entering the track, and hit their marks for what their setup is geared towards.
First green flag stop this evening coming from Gil Gawk. He is currently 1 lap down that 85. He has some solid left side damage to that Chevrolet for the Gator Racing team with him and Chuck Sweeting. And it looks like he had some heavy contact on the inside. Typically, you don't see the inside damage. So he must have got loose and hit the wall or something. I did not catch it, but he's down there for repairs. I don't think this was a scheduled stop because of that damage. And yeah, I just checked it on my replay there. Turn number 2, he did slam the inside wall. So unscheduled, and you can see it right there in that free floating camera that Dustin's co-oping here, being a broadcaster and producing. You see that heavy damage, especially that left front. And he's got an extensive amount of work to do in that car.
Yeah, and that's going to be very costly, especially during green flag racing, because like I said, these drivers are booking around this track right now. And the more time you spend on pit roads, the more laps that you go down. And there was substantial damage on there. I mean, even though this is a 1.5 mile track, draft does play a factor in this one here. to help out. I mean, if you have something that's going to essentially create a wind block for you, it's going to slow your car down. And with the amount of damage on the front nose of that as well, that left front, you got to kind of start asking, is there any engine damage? Is it going to be down, any RPMs? Because even a couple hundred RPMs less is going to be detrimental on that track.
Yeah, and this track is one of the fastest ones that they go to of the year. It's, minus the super speedways, this track is basically the fastest one they go to. So that kind of damage, especially on the nose, it's going to hurt. It's going to put a wind block, like you said. It's going to affect you. It's going to make you really tight. I don't think he's going to have any radiator damage because it's so far to the left-hand side. There might be some tire rub involved. Who knows? But we definitely got a lot of work to do. He's currently 4 laps down, getting that thing repaired. So his night's all but done as far as contending for anything. And actually, he just disconnected. So that will be the second expired car this evening. He'll be finishing in 21st.
Yeah, unfortunate event. Too much. Going to take too much to get that repaired. So he elected to push it back to the garage and load it up in the hauler and watch the race with the rest of us here. Back on track, though, Nicholas Moreau just got done overtaking for the first time tonight on track 2 cars, putting the 44 of Chris Beck and the 17 of Steve Loomis officially 1 lap down. Was able to clear them, looked like with ease. Again, both Beck and Loomis yielding to the leader there, given the respect and everything else. But usually it gets real hairy, Jeremy. You and I have been in that situation trying to pass cars at the tail end of the lead lap when you're on here. We're 56 laps in, so green flag pit stops looking to be starting here probably within the next 5 laps. It can get real hairy because your car does not want to stick the way you want it to.
Yeah, before these guys come down pit road, I want to give a shout out, speaking of grip, to Martin Sports. Martin Sports, hashtag get a grip. Lucky Dog award recipients will get the hashtag get a grip from Martin Sports themselves. And they get the, the infamous gloves that we talk about, the home of the sim gloves of all sports. Or esports rather. And speaking of which, the pit stops have underway. The 27 looks like he's down. The 25 is down. I think I saw one of the Moreau Motorsports cars down as well. So the green flag pit stops are officially underway.
Yeah, they have officially started, and right around where we had expected them to start, Jeremy, right around that lap 60 mark. Again, depending on how hard some of these drivers have been running it, some are definitely wanting stuff a little bit more. Looked like Martin Garreau come in a little hot there, kind of smoking the tires on the way in. We'll have to do a speed check. Chuck Sweeting in, Wayne Grossi in, Alex Murphy in as well. So again, a lot of drivers definitely starting to make their way down pit road to the service of their crew. Try to get some 4 fresh Goodyear sneakers on that thing and see what they can't get done.
Chuck Sweeting made an excellent pit stop there as he's able to go side by side with Wayne Grossi entering his stall, as he's now being serviced by his crew members. Well underway here. And my playbook, Destin, I want to do a shout out. I think you might be my good luck charm here, because with Kenny last season, I was not able to do anything right. I literally said lap 55 to 60, and I'm on the money right at 55, 56 laps. So I have to give a shout out and a pat on the back to myself.
I am finally glad that you got an updated notebook that you decided to bring with, because I don't know. Kenny's going to have to try a little harder on Wednesday now to give you shit about some of this stuff, because, hey, you had a rule book that was right, and it wasn't his call. If you remember last season, you sat here and he made a call off your notebook there, and he got it right. You didn't even get the chance to take claim for it.
No, you're right, and now I can officially do that. So let's see if I can repeat that. We'll prove that for sure if when Wednesday comes around, if I'm right or wrong. But the 15, your race leader Nicholas Moreau, he is getting serviced by his car. By his crew rather. He's exiting pit road at the moment. And I was actually watching this guy's lap time the past 15 laps before he came down. Virtually identical lap times. He was running low 31.1s. It was like 31.1, 31.1, 31.0, 31.1. And after a 15-lap stint on those really old tires, that is something that not many people have. Like, I was looking at everybody else's lap times, and there was a continual fall off. And that 15 he has something going on that long run that's amazing, and he's found the right thing in this next gen car.
Oh, it definitely has. I mean, that's what you want. You want that consistency. Is right now the 23 of Brody Hannes staying out 62 laps in. He's your current race leader, followed by the 67 of James Wallace. I do want to give a shout out to the chats. We have not forgot about you, all you fine nerd and nerdettes out there. So Simon Magden wants to say and shout out, "Let's go Rumble Racing." So Rumble Racing definitely has their cheer squad out there. Go Queen Nicholas Moreau, talking about person that has dominated this race since the drop of the green flag, Jeremy.
All hail the queen, Mr. Donald saying here is he is putting on a clinic so far. But yeah, chats are open. Please, please, we love to interact with you guys. We have not forgotten you as well. I have them up live on my end as well. So come on, let's have some fun. Let's interact with each other. But before we get going on that, it looks like everyone for the most part has done their cycle through. The 23's trying to get down. No, actually, it hit too much traffic behind him. 26 is looking to pass him right now, but Brody Hanna, Dustin, he's typically one of those guys that he likes to run really hard early and it kind of falls off, but he's on a different strategy here with how much slower his car is, and I don't know. I don't know about the strategy. I think I'm on the same page as everybody else. I would have won a pitted about 10 laps ago with the majority of the people, but the Brody Hanna at 23, I think he's got something a little different strategy-wise to maybe make a different call to get himself into a better finishing spot.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about any type of auto racing. You know, no matter what it is, whether it's NASCAR, whether it's IndyCar, F1, doesn't matter. This is what, you know, really sets it apart from a lot of other sports is you have that pit strategy. You know, and there's no pit strategy that's right or wrong because we've seen somebody not perform very well on a certain pit strategy, but somebody else uses the same pit strategy and performed very well on it. As Brody Hanna's coming in right now, man, he come in blistering hot on that one there. Does it able to get it woed down, but man, he was cooking on that. But as I was saying, Jeremy, I say that because this right here, we have seen this pit strategy work for some people, and we've seen it not work. And the reason for that is because while Brody Hanna was out there leading laps and getting those bonus points, a lot of the other drivers that have had fresh tires were going out there and putting down some blister hot laps. So that means they are making up a lot of time on the track that Brody, you know, is going to end up losing. So how this is going to cycle out for him right now, you know, we don't know yet. He may fall further back on it, but it may put him there at the end, being able to stretch it. So again, sometimes it's a give and take.
It is really hard to not play Superman when you have the 4 fresh tires and you're just passing people who have not pitted yet or trying to extend their run as long as possible. It is really hard not just go full throttle all around this track and make up the most time possible because you do have 60 laps to run before you pit, or in this case, some guys are running out here up to 70 laps. So you can't destroy the tires, but at the same time, you just feel really fast passing everybody, and you're like, I gotta go, I gotta make up the most time possible. But you can't forget about that long run. It is there, and people will eat you up if you try to go too hard too early.
Yeah, and again, shout out in the chats. Stig was super happy about Boomerang Motorsports. He had 4 cars, all in some of the top spots there. Hey, you know what? It's all right. Green flag pit stops were going on, but I tell you what, it's no matter where they're running at like that, it's always good to get excited with it, you know, the way that it plays out. And again, we still got a lot of racing. We're only 68 laps into this. We still have 132 laps to go in this event. We're not even at halfway yet. 131 now. Anything could happen on this, and pit strategy, we have seen time and time again, play a huge factor in the outcome of these races, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse.
Yeah, and that Boomerang Motorsports consists of Ryan Hedrick, Joshua Johnson, and James Wallace. You know, they're not out of it. Like you said, they've got tons of time left. So we're just at our first set of green flag pit stops, have fully cycled through. Nicholas Moreau has taken the race lead back. This time, Matthew Tremblay is going to resume in second place, 3.1 seconds out from the race leader. And just behind him, the newcomer, Matthew Vachon, and that 26 Transit Chevrolet Camaro, 3.7 back, so only 0.6 away from second place here. But with the amount of time that's left, the guys like Ryan Hedrick for the Boomerang team that you're giving a shout out to, they have time to get their cars fixed up and maybe make some passes. It may not be the fastest car that you can do like in the garage and do wholesale changes, but you can tweak things here and there. And as the clock runs down, this track will get a little cooler and some grip happens. And with the long race, things flip flop on the later half of the runs here.
Yeah, and that's just it. They definitely do. And like I said, I mean, that's exactly what drivers like Ryan Hedrick are really looking forward to, because if you remember early on in the race, he tagged that apron and got loose and lost 12 positions right off the bat. And with as loose as what he was, I mean, he took some life off of his tires on that one there. So he was praying for that lap 55 window to hit to get in and get some fresh tires on there for him to try to start making up a little bit from that early race near debacle that happened, but again, with the great wheelmanship that he had, was able to save it.
Since the green flag stops have all cycled through, I would like to kick us over to our first side-by-side commercial break this evening. So we'll be back with you guys in just a few short minutes.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and e-NASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
Welcome back to Nerd TV coverage of the Full Throttle Sim Race Series presented by Mach1 Performance. And as soon as, or right before we're about to come back, you saw it on your side-by-side screen there on the right-hand side. First caution is out. Looks like heavy contact from that number 50, Martin Garreau. We're going to get a couple replay shots of that, but looks like he got heavy loose in turn number 2. Came down, clipped the 75 just enough to send him to the outside wall. And then right in the middle of the traffic, the 31 and 55 slam him head on here. It's a heavy incident right there. 50 just right in the middle of the track. Nowhere to go for these guys. 31 especially just could not do anything. Nailed him in his door panel. Then the 55. Man, just heavy contact there by Jonathan Fashon, who was looking to gain some time back. He lost some time in pit road, got back on track, and just a few laps later, boom, heavy contact there on the back side of the 50. Looks like only 3 cars involved after that chaos there. You see the 50 hit the wall head on there, and right in the middle of the track. Some of these guys able to split, and then some of them, boom, like the 55 and 31. Nails them pretty hard. Brings your first caution on lap 79.
Yeah, hard impact. We're going to get an onboard shot right now from the 55 of Jonathan Fashon, because I tell you what, that was a hard lick. I mean, it's a simulated lick, but I tell you what, that was just heavy impact, completely taking his entire front clip off on that one. So again, big time accident there. You see a couple of the drivers able to squeak by after the caution came out, but big time implications, Jeremy.
Yeah, 55. Jonathan Fashon has manually disconnected from the server due to that damage, so he's going to be 20th place finisher this evening. This is the 3rd car expired for tonight's Charlotte 300. That wreck could have been a lot worse, Dustin, but thankfully there's only 3 cars. You hate to see any of them, but thankfully only 3 were involved in that in total. But you know what? This brings me to what we talked about probably 40 laps ago, maybe 50 laps ago, where everyone's all nice and buttoned up. That Wayne Grossi machine, that number 7, now he has a chance to kind of show what he's worth. Is now he's within striking distance.
Yeah, and that's what unfortunately that's what some of the drivers needed, was a caution to really close it up. Because I mean, it's let's be honest, the first 60 laps of this race, I mean, it was an awesome long green flag run. Actually, first 80 laps after green flag pit stops, but it allowed some of these drivers like Nicholas Moreau, Matthew Vachon, Matthew Tremblay to really stretch things out on that. This is what some of these drivers needed. One of those drivers being none other than our driver in rig driver presented by Mach1 Performance, Mr. Richie Coy, who, if you remember, Jeremy, we talked about was definitely having a very loose race car early on in the race. So this is going to allow him to get closed back up and see if he can't come at some of these other top 5 drivers with a little bit of something.
Yeah, and as he's under caution, you see him right now. We're actually going to try to bring him into the chat systems here. See if we get a word with Mr. Richie Coy. Mr. Richie Coy, this is Jeremy in the Nerd TV booth. You got a copy?
What's up, guys?
Hey, man, that was a really long green flag run. It looks like your car is running a little tight so far. What's your thoughts so far in this race, and did you make any changes to maybe change things up and get back to the front?
Yeah, car's is quite tight, actually, so we're in the process of trying to loosen it up. We actually made an adjustment on that last pit stop, and just gave me a little bit more of it this pit stop.
Yeah, so go ahead here. We have 118 laps, it looks like, left in this event. What's your expectations at this point? Do you be a little more aggressive? Do you try to lay back and be the long run king like you usually are? What's your overall expectations going forward?
I'm going to try to do pretty much what I usually do, which is I'm going to ride. I mean, we got a long race to go yet, and we're going to fill it out a little bit more, another couple of pit stops, and we'll see where we get.
All right, man, we're going to send you back. It's 1 lap to go, so good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thanks, guys.
Got it.
So that was Richie Coy, our Mach1 Performance in-rig driver and in-race reporter right now. So you heard him. Tight race car, try to loosen it up a little bit. Let's hope that he doesn't loosen it up too much for the longer run. We seen there towards the tail end of the longer run, Jeremy, that it seemed like that was really weighing heavy on that right rear coming off of turn 2, most notably. So we'll just have to see what's going on. But we know Richie Coy is one of those. He's one of those veterans on those long runs, so he knows how to get it done.
Yeah, you never want to question him, but I was just always curious. When you got a new striker here with Moreau Motorsports, you maybe have to change some things up for a little bit. But he sounds pretty confident. He knew his car was pretty tight, but I think he's got that thing fixed up. And I would imagine being him back in the top 3, top 2, maybe even for that lead. But pace car is down. That means we are about to go back to green flag action for the first restart on lap number 83. Nicholas Moreau leads the charge here with his teammate on the outside, Matthew Vachon and Matthew Tremblay as well. All three on the same team, 1, 2, 3. And Rumble Racing has found themselves in 4th place with the 27 Varnauskas as he falls back to 5th as Richie Coy makes a great move on the inside.
Yeah, on that inside, and that's exactly what you were talking about. You were not expecting too long before you'd see that 19 of Richie Coy try to make his way up there. But again, good side-by-side here. You see those 3 cars on that mid to high lane going through the corners there. Fresh tires like that, they can really get it done. One of those drivers being Wayne Grossi that we had talked about. And look who else is up there, none other than the Mr. 75 himself, Chuck Sweeting, after all that, which is exactly what he needed because he fell off late in that run as well. I do want to shout out, before we forget, that our Martin Sports Lucky Dog driver was none other than the 47 of Ryan Hedrick. Was able to get that lucky dog. We weren't able to pull him in or, give that shout out as we were trying to get some in-race reporting, kind of see how the racing was for Mr. Richie Coy. But we do want to give that shout out again. Hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Driver is none other than Ryan Hedrick.
Much needed too, because that was that guy who fell off real early as he got loose and lost 12 spots there, I think, within the first 20 laps and was unable to fully recover. And now he's back on the lead lap, and maybe he can gain some ground finally on these guys. And only time will tell, though. But he had an outstanding first half of the Cup season. Looked like he was going to maybe shine and be that top person. But after the short tracks happened on the first season, 2022, kind of lost his mojo a little bit and fell back. But 2022 Season B is now open, and of course it's a fresh set of points, fresh set of stats to go through, and I would imagine he's going to be up there to see the 75. Chuck Sweeting running the top side of the track. Haven't seen too many people explore that line early on a green flag run.
No, but if you recall, it's about midway through that last run. He was getting an excellent run going through that, starting on that high side and really cutting it, low, coming off. He was able to really get some good runs. So, again, surprising this early, but surprised to see the 75 up there. I'm not as surprised as right now we're on board with the 26 of Matthew Vachon. You see the 19 of Richie Coy back there is trying to get some pressure on it, but again, we've seen how strong Vachon has been running so far this race, Jeremy.
Didn't just dawn on me till now, but that wreck that we had, 2 of the 3 Rumble Racing cars were involved in that wreck, the 31 and the 50. And I just saw Alex Murphy about a couple laps ago did expire from his damages from that wreck. So that's going to be your 4th car expired, or 5th car, because Martin Guerrero as well did both. So both those guys are going to be finishing 18th and 19th. So we got 4 total cars out of this event so far, and we're just creeping on halfway.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Rumble Racing. We know that they have their cheer squad and everything else in the form of Simon Magden up in the chats and everything else. So an unfortunate event that took place that involved two of their team drivers. But again, the season is young. This is the season opener for the Mach1 Performance Cup Series race here at Charlotte. Again, one of the crown jewels and one of the longest races on the schedule. But right now, you are seeing Moreau Racing picking up right where they left off prior to that caution right now, holding spots first through third right now with Nicholas Moreau, Matthew Tremblay, and Matthew Vachon.
Jonathan Varnauskas, the only Rumble Racing driver left. He started in 4th place. He's found himself back to 8th place right now. Looks like he's finally regrouped and found some speed. He's right behind that number 67 of James Wallace, looking to maybe get around him. Wayne Grossi as well, up to 6th place, the farthest he's been up through the field, as he's still making that charge to get up to the race lead.
Yeah, excellent. I'm happy to see James Wallace up there. If you recall, for everybody watching out there, James Wallace is one of the rookie drivers last season, along with Ryan Hedrick as well. Both of those drivers duked it out for Rookie of the Year honors. So James is a solid driver. Finished, aside from missing a couple races, had been running right up there in the points. So it's always good to see him running very well, as he's running 7th right now, looking like he's going to come under attack from the only Rumble Racing driver left, being Jonathan Varnaskis.
Yeah, he's put on a pretty good show up there. Like I said, currently running an 8th, and 75, washed up the track a little bit. Actually, it might be as a approach here. I've not seen someone run so high up on turn 3 and 4. That 75, every time he does that, it always catches me a little off guard. So he's trying to get a great run here off these corners. The marbles are starting to build up. We're 94 laps in. Not many people run the top side, so you got to worry about the debris up on the top half of that track, up right up against that wall. So if you're going to run this line now, you got to be cautious that your car might pick up some of those marbles. It might get a little loose in a spot of the corner you're not expecting. But it seems to be working so far for that 75. He just lowers that line just a little bit, about 2/3 up the racing surface. Gets a great launch off of turn number 4. And he's back to just a couple car lengths off Richie Coy. And actually, he makes a great run here and has a good shot at him coming into turn number 3.
Yeah, he's got an excellent line going through there. I mean, he plants those left side tires right on that first seam line in there after his entry. I mean, and he doesn't move him very far from that seam line at all, and it gives him such a rocket ship shot coming off the corners, especially turn 4. As you see right now, he's looking to start putting his nose on the outside of the 19 of Richie Coy.
Yeah, that car's bad fast. If he can maintain those tires a little bit longer and keep that looseness under control, that 75 might have something for that 15. Really, that whole Moreau Motorsports running 1, 2, 3. This is the first time we've seen them all grouped up at the top with fresh tires, so they're all running nose to tail here. 4 outside the top, or inside the top 5. Outside of that, 6th place on back, or 2 seconds back or farther. They got a little decent battle here with Wayne Grossi and the 67 of James Wallace, and still that Rumble Racing 27 Jonathan Varnaskis inside 6th, 7th, and 8th place.
Yeah, you can't count out that 7 of Grossi. We have mentioned his name a couple times this race already. And this is exactly what he was waiting on. Now, again, it's as he gets a lot of pressure right there from the 67. 67 of James Wallace was all over that back end of that Pennzoil Chevy of Grossi. But, again, you have Grossi's set is going to come in. And like I said, he is a mid to late run driver. That's just how he is. He will maintain up until that mid to late run, and then that's when you're going to see him do it. So as long as he can maintain what he's doing right now, when this run gets halfway through, starts working towards the later stages of it, that's when you're going to see him start picking them off, as you see the 67 of Wallace nosing on the inside, as we got a battle right now for 6th.
Yep, battle is underway. 67 James Wallace had a great run off of turn number 2, able to make a good charge in 3 and 4, running dead heat side by side with Wayne Grossi. And yeah, if Wayne can, get back in front of him and have a good solid run, they get really close here in turn 1. Able to keep it off from each other, and 7 gets a little tight there, allowing the 6-7 to get a good launch. He gives them tons of room down the backstretch, but they are nose to nose, side by side, entering 3.
Yeah, nose to nose again. This battle here has been going on for about a lap now, and it's you see the 7 eke forward a little bit, then you see the 67 move forward a little bit, and this is the kind of racing and battling you can do on fresh tires. It's not going to be this smooth or this easy. Contact made. Grossi in the wall, contact made again. No. That's going to bring out your caution.
Caution is out.
That's exactly what we did not want to see there. It looked like the 67 just drifted up in the corner there, making contact. It looked like Grossi was able to, he wall tagged it, but was going to be able to maintain and keep going, and the 67 just had to chase the car up the track some more, and the final contact was made that put both of them into the wall.
Man, I was listening to comms too, and the 67 came on the radio, said, "That's my fault there." And then Wayne came down the track, having a little bit of a wall glue. Whenever you get that wall glue for just even a second, you know you got to turn down low. So, and then it bounced him off the wall, came back down, and it looks like he wasn't able to get that car straightened out in time. Comes back into the right rear panel, that 67, which you're about to see that right now. There's the initial contact, bounces off the wall, comes down the track, 67 collected, and then heavy impact into that outside turn number 2 wall. Heavy nose damage to both of these cars. They got a lot of work to do in pit road.
Ooh, and we're going to go Solari on that one there, because he just barely, and I mean barely, missed the front nose of Wayne Grossi on that one. You couldn't have fit a piece of paper in between them, I swear.
Pretty awesome heads up driving there by Tony Solari. And, you know, that mental note of going, is he high, is he low? If I go high, will it hit the wall? And he is able to get on the binders just enough, bolt to the high side, able to clear him by just a short amount of distance. Keep that nose clean on that number 11 Menards Ford Mustang. Unfortunate for him to be able to miss that, but Wayne Grossi, and so he had such a great run too. Him and James Wallace both. They both had some awesome potential. It's just you just hate to see it, but you know, with long races, and you got to keep mentally focused. And sometimes things happen on the racing turf, especially when you have two really fast cars going at it. But that's good. We'll bring out the second caution as we're just now halfway around this race.
Can we count that up to broadcaster curse on that one? Because we had mentioned both of those drivers pretty extensively just before that. And if that's what we're going to chalk it up to, Jeremy, I will apologize to both of those drivers. That's the unfortunate thing about broadcasters. It seems like most of the time when we go to talk about somebody, something ill happens to them and we just don't have any control over it.
You know, we talked a lot about these race leaders too, but you know, we can't spread the curse to everybody. So I guess if we had to pinpoint it, they were in clean all the way up until we shed some spotlight on them, and then they said, "Hey, we're on TV," and then they caused some action. And so, I mean, I'll go out there and I'll go on a limb and say, yeah, that partly our fault, of course, for giving that curse out there. It happens once or twice a season, if not more. But yeah, I feel bad.
Yeah, I'm right now. What I am surprised at is that 23 of Brody Hanna elected to stay out, and literally everybody else behind him came down pit road. So that put him in that top spot, and everybody else behind him has fresh tires, filled up tank. So I'm going to be interested to see. But remember, Brody Hanna was one of the last ones that came in and, you know, to pit under that last, right before that first caution. But I'm still wondering exactly how this strategy is going to work out.
His tires are about 13 or 14 laps older than the 15 right behind him, Nicholas Moreau. We know Nicholas has the fastest car tonight, so and tires are actually kind of important here. Observing this past week, especially in this truck race that we had on Wednesday on Nerd TV, we saw two guys that were side by side. One pitted one lap, and then one pitted the next lap, and they were separated by 1.8 seconds after a 50-lap run. And then the same thing flip-flopped, where the guy who 1.8 seconds ahead pitted one lap later, and they were back to nose to tail. So tires matter here at Charlotte. This track is bad fast, but it comes with a price, and that is your tire wear. So I really don't expect the 23 to be up front much. I know he's getting some extra laps led. About the only way he's going to be able to get it to contend with this Murrah Motorsports, dominating the first, second, and third place. So it just takes away some of that laps total lead from the 15, but you know, I like the call. It's a little bit of boldness, but you know, if it goes green flag the whole way, he's going to have to short pit compared to some of these other guys.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing that he can hope on is that he can maintain a solid run with this here, and hope that a caution is going to come out here in about 25, 30 laps, because that would be enough wear on everybody that just come down pit road to validate them coming down pit road again, so that they would all be on the same cycle. That'd be about the best case scenario, but I agree, Jeremy, if it goes green for the remainder of the race, which, I mean, it went 80 laps prior before our first caution. We've got 96 laps left, 95 when they take the green flag. It's possible. that it could go green the rest of the way as well. So we'll just have to see how this plays out.
It's very possible. Quick mention to James Wallace, who got involved in that wreck, did expire. He's outside the event tonight. 5th car expired out. We'll be finishing in 17th place, but green flag's about to be out here. Brody Hanna elects to take the outside. First time we've seen the leader take the outside approach on a restart here. Green flag is out 23 with a great start there. Missed a shift. It looked like the 15 is able to get back to him, and they're going to be side by side in turn number 1.
Yeah, side by side on that one there. You see the 15 right now of Nicholas Moreau on that inside. He does have a teammate behind him there, so no pressure as of right now as he's trying to do it. But that excellent run that Hanna had coming off of turn 2 is allowing him to stay out in front of the 15. But here comes Moreau right now, battling back on the inside. It is a dead heat race to the line as these guys are 2 by 2 by 2, about 3-4 rows back.
I'm going to expect this 23 at this point to start falling off once the heat starts building up in these tires. And 23 had to give it up there in the middle of the corner, did not have the grip. Got a little tight comparison to that 15 and 25. Saw the 15 to clear him. And you see the 25 now of Matthew Tremblay, able to just about clear the 23 here as they go through the center of the corner on the exit turn number 4. And the 23 is able to hold on just a little bit longer. She's still side by side, barely with that 25.
Yeah, side-by-side battle for second right now, and right behind this battle is that 75 of Chuck Sweeting. We've seen him come on strong, and he's going to put his nose to the inside.
Oh.
Swoo, wicked loose. What a save. Whoa.
Oh,
No. I spoke too soon.
Man, caution is out.
Caution is out on that one there. It looked like he was going to be able to save it and keep going on that one. Is the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. But he just did not want to come back to him on that one.
I agree with you. I thought he had that thing saved. What an awesome job. And then he just kind of overcorrection, barely, I guess, on the throttle. The tire spun one more time, shot him up to the outside of the track. And the 26 there, he met with him, squared his door panel, that being Matthew Vachon, the newcomer here in the new season for Full Throttle. And collects him, throws him deep into that cutout portion of the wall, heavy impact. And then I think I'm going to use your paper measurement here with that 75 and 26 as he came across his nose, just barely misses him. But it did take the hood off the 75, though.
Yeah, it did take the hood off the 75 on that contact, but hard contact by the 26 of Matthew Vachon. And that's unfortunate because, like I said, such a strong running. Is Matthew Vachon part of that Moreau Racing team? You're going to see this impact, just heavy impact on the 26, and that's unfortunate. It looks like a little bit of contact from the 17 of Loomis as he was trying to cut to get away. So, again, that's a heavy hit right now for that Moreau Racing team.
Yeah, that's painful, man. He was running pretty good up there in the front, just got pushed back a little bit from these pit stops and found himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. 75, of course, he feels bad. He was on the radio saying sorry. And Matthew Vachon is officially exited the server. 6th guy out of tonight's event. Will be finishing in the 16th place. That leaves two guys left on Moreau Motorsports. Those guys 1 and 2, the 15 and 25, Nicholas Moreau and Matthew Tremblay. And then this gives Brody Hanna a good chance to, kind of regroup there. He's got the older tires. I think he did not pit, I don't think so. He's going to still remain 3rd place, though. He had a pretty decent start there. I was surprised he was able to hold on, at least just keep inside the top 3 for those first few laps.
You know who is happy to see this caution come out, though? Was none other than the driver that you had just moments ago seen on Nerd TV, the driver of that number 7, Mr. Wayne Grossi. After that impact, this allows him some slowed down time to try to get some repairs made on that number 7 after the events that contact between the 7 and the 67. So definitely a happy driver there to try to get some of these repairs done.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Much needed time to get that thing fully repaired up. It doesn't look like it's fully repaired. He's exiting pit road right now. You see him there in 1 and 2. Are still looking like it's pretty beat up. Looks a little better than what it did for sure. We'll see if he can maybe make one more pit stop to get this thing finalized. get that car back up in good running order. I think he was supposed to be lucky dog, but I think he came and got the thing repaired more so. I'm not entirely sure who, in fact, was your lucky dog. I think it was a 7-0, but I think the repairs were a little bit more important there.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes you have to gamble on that. And at this track here, we had already talked about it. Jeremy, you'd made mention of it a number of times that this is one of the fastest tracks there. So your equipment being in as best operational order as possible, and the most amount of that sheet metal flattened out is what is going to help you in the long run of this race. Like I said, we still got 90 laps left to go in this event. 89 when we pass the start-finish line, so still a lot of racing to go. So any damage that they can get fixed, I'd definitely say that was a good gamble.
Yeah, you're just going to have to. And actually, you know what? I'm going to maybe correct myself here, going back. Chris Beck, actually, in that 44, was the lucky dog after everything cycled through. So I apologize. The 44 is going to get your hashtag Get a Grip Martin Sports Lucky Dog Recipient Award. I did see him fully go around the track after everyone got lined up. So it's going to put him back 3 laps down. He was 4 apparently. He's now 3. He's got some work to do still on that machine. He's been pretty beat up early on. So the car's still not looking. His right side's torn up pretty all right. His left side looks for the most part okay. But he's been involved in some wall contacts early, which has put him in that spot right now.
Yeah, but again, 1 lap closer to it. So again, congratulations, Chris Beck, on getting that hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog. And by the looks of some of these drivers and how uncomfortable their cars look, I think every driver would love to get a grip right now, just a little bit. Maybe not in the form of gloves. They're probably screaming tires.
Yeah, tires are they're huge here. As this racing surface ages, it's gonna take more and more, grip from these tires. The rubber is gonna fade off a lot faster. The tires are gonna heat up more. The car's gonna get more uncomfortable. So, and this track is bad fast, but I think this surface is over just around 10 years old, if I'm not mistaken, or close to it. So definitely got some age right now. But we're about to go back to green flag. We're about to see this pace car dip down here to have our third restart of the evening, my bad. Nicholas Moreau this time is going to lead the way from with his teammate, the 25, Matthew Tremblay, on his outside. Green flag is out to 15 with an excellent restart over him. 27, that Rebel Racing machine, Jonathan Varnoskis, is a good restart on the top side. Looks like it's going to hold. The outside dips down right in front of Brody Hanna, and they're going to go single file for the top 5.
Yeah, I don't know. Brody Hanna just did not have a good restart on that one there. Look, maybe the 15 of Nicholas Moreau took off quicker than what he was expecting. Maybe those tires playing a little bit of a factor, but just did not have the restart he was looking for, but definitely opened it up for the 25 of Tremblay and the 27 of Varnoskis to move forward and, take sole possession of that second and third position.
Yeah, this single filed out. Looks like the 19, Richie Coy, going to go around his teammate Brody Hanna for 4th place. Opens the door for that 57. Joshua Johnson as well, going to take a peek, trying to get to the inside of the top 5 here. And Brian Dublé is also looking to pounce on that, as well as the older tires of Brody Hanna are starting to show here.
Yeah, and that is a name we have not had the privilege of calling very much tonight, is the 57 of Joshua Johnson. We've seen him really start to come into his own later at the closing races and stages of the 2022A season. Had some good runs that he strung together there. So it's always good to see him picking up right where he left off, as he now hits that top 5 officially during green flag runs like this. He's now past Brody Hanna for that 5th place. So always good to see some of these drivers that we don't get a chance to really call their names, because Jeremy, as well as I, we got somebody sideways back there.
Man, caution is out.
Looks like it's going to be the 4 of Chad Lang is sideways there, going down the quad oval.
Yep, caution is out for the 4th time this evening, this time on lap 114. Mr. Chad Lang does get loose right as he gets to turn number 4. Tags the apron, slides up the racing surface, and collects Tony Solari. Heavy impact for the 4 and for the number 11. Shot the number 4 down into the road course section of the quad oval there. You can see right here, just snaps loose. and it comes up the track, barely misses the 14. The
Hard
number 11
impact.
gets
Jeez.
destroyed there. Yeah, just kind of just pinched him off on that corner. Really hard impact, slowed him down a lot, caused heavy damage for both of these guys. And this is kind of one of those classic things where cautions breed cautions. And that number 4, going back to the next gen car too, with these Goodyear tires, the low profile, they don't have an inner liner. It's a much lower height as far as the rubber's concerned, not the wheel. The wheel's a bigger base, so they shrunk into a low profile tire. So there's not much leeway. There's not much forgiveness. So these cars snap loose real fast because there's not as much flexibility in these Goodyear tires this year around in these next gens. So you hate to see it because he was just running good. He had a solid corner, gets through 3 perfectly fine, gets to turn number 4, and on a flip of a switch, boom, got loose, and that's what happened right there.
Yeah, and you did see the 4 of the 4 of Chad Lang try to lock the brakes up a little bit there and stop from going back up the track, but it just didn't work. And unfortunately, I mean, heavy impact there we seen from the onboard of Tony Solari. So unfortunate event there. Both drivers down pit road right now trying to get some of that damage repaired up. But our Martin Sports hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog driver is the 17 of Steve Loomis. Go get yourself a lap back there, and hopefully that little extra grip from the Martin Sports Get a Grip Lucky Dog driver will help you out, because like we had mentioned before, a lot of these drivers are wanting some more grip.
Yeah, that that Black Rifle Coffee Company number 17 Chevrolet Camaro definitely needed that caution to get himself back into the lead lap there to try to get some spots gained. Much needed caution for that 17 for sure. And I think Brody finally did pit this time around for this caution. So he's going to be restarting, looks like 9th place. But the difference is now he's the one with the fresh set of tires, about 5 or 6 green flag laps different. So this might be a good little move here from the 23.
Yeah, and it very well could. And like I said, we're at 117 right now. So I had said 25, 30 laps on that, might be that make or break. And we're right around that, that little segue there as far as time. So I'm with you, Jeremy. I mean, this could be a well played out play by the 23 team, to try to get it out there. So, but this definitely shakes up the top 10, as right now we see Ryan Hedrick, who had gotten the lucky dog previously a couple cautions ago, is in the top 10 right now. So again, Brian Dublé still running solid, has kept his car clean, still running. He's running in that 6th position. We had talked about Joshua Johnson still in that top 5 position. He's got an excellent race going on right now. Right now, the talk that has been since the drop of the green flag has been Moreau Racing. Nicholas Moreau leading it, and right now his teammate Matthew Trim.
Yeah, 2 cars left on that team are positioned in 1st and 2nd place, and these guys have just been bad fast, especially Nicholas, who's led majority of this race. Matthew Tremblay had to come through some cars here to get back into 2nd place, and once he's been there, he has been on par with his teammate at 15. So kind of open up the season with a new set of guys on this team, and just really just showing up saying, hey, this is what we're worth. You got this to contend with this season. I would imagine they're opening those eyes up from Fury Motorsports, from Wayne Grossi's team. Those guys are expected to do so well, even Chuck Sweeting. And now like, well, I got this to contend with now, especially for the first race. So as the season clocks in, you don't know. It could just be a one showing year, but it looks like right now this team is in full sync coming in. They must have had a lot of practice before joining FTSR, because they're running pretty damn strong.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree any more with you there. So, like I said, definitely going to be interesting to see how these last 82 laps play out for the Charlotte 300. As you see, the pace lights are off on the official iRacing pace car. We're used here at Full Throttle Sim Racing and for Nerd TV and Nerditudes. But again, it's going to be interesting to see what some of these drivers have for that Moreau Racing team. Varnoskis up there, Coy, Johnson, you got Dublé, Chuck Sweeting, Lane Allen in the top 10, Brody Hanna still sitting there, and Ryan Hedrick rounds out your entire top 10 as it sits right now, Jeremy.
My eyes are going to be on that number 23 starting in 9th place with the fresh tires. Let's see what kind of ground he can gain here. Also, let's see what that 75 can do with no hood on that Chevrolet
Green.
Camaro here. But green flag is out. The 15 and the 25 with an excellent start here. But the 27, Varnoskis, able to put down some awesome restarts here. He's able to match these leaders. Heading into turn number 1, nose to tail a little bit with the 25 there. Gives it up an entrance of 1 or 2 rather. Coming off the corner, he's going to have a great run down the back stretch as Richie Coy also looking to get top 3.
Yeah, Richie Coy trying that Chuck Sweeting line, those left tires right on that mid-seam right there, and they do not leave. It gives him that good run off as he's side by side right now on the outside with the 27 of Varnoskis. Great race going into turn 1.
Side by side, 27 and 19 still there. 27 checks up and almost tags the 19. That was so close, but he's able to make it clean exiting turn number 2. He did lose a little bit of ground there, and the 19 fully secures 3rd place.
Yeah, so Mark, the 19 of Richie Coy back up as we have a caution on the race surface again. Might involve
this time it is
big wreck going in, as you see right now on your screen. It involves the 44 of Beck, the 47 of Hedrick we just talked about, and Wayne Grossi finds himself in the same situation again with another incident. So big time implications on this one.
Dustin, this started back in turn number 2. Surprisingly, they were piled up in 3 and 4, but this started in turn number 2. Joshua Johnson gets loose right in the middle, comes down, hits the apron, was really slow. Brody Hanna had nowhere to really go, comes down, and then everyone started checking up. They get 3 and 4 wide down the backstretch. They make multiple contacts, 57, 37, or 47, all the 7s really. Get involved middle of the backstretch, and they continue that wreck all the way to 3 and 4, and they finally end up in a parking garage. You see the 57 get loose here, come back up the track. Nothing's wrong there until right there. The checkups happen. Everyone starts to sandwich together right here, and they hit the wall. They're wrecking there. Looks like everything's fine. The 47 collects Wayne Grossi, and then they start piling up once more. The 44 this time involved as well. That's going to put an end really to that team with the 4 and the 44, the Flying Tigers Motorsports. That was the only guy left, and he's got no nose clip on that thing. Huge wreck here.
Yeah, huge wreck. And that's, we had said it before, cautions breed cautions, and that one there was just, everybody was checking up, trying to do what they could to stay out of it, but these tracks only have so much room. Once people are trying to, people need room to try to collect the stuff back up. And it just, when you run out of that room, the only other thing you have left is other competitor cars. So, I mean, it's only inevitable that it's bound to happen. I mean, tough break for some of these drivers, that we had. You had talked about, the 44 of Chris Beck being the last one of that team, out there running essentially with, the minimalist amount of damage possible. And that just tore his car up. The 47 we were just talked about, Ryan Hedrick, being up there in the top 10, had been the recipient of the lucky dog, got that back. Heavy damage to that 47 car. It's the 57 of Josh Johnson. There was damage to that one as well. So, I mean, it's just heavy impact and implications on all these drivers that got involved. We just talked about Dublé as well. It's a tough break. I mean, best thing that these drivers are going to do now, Jeremy, is hit pit road, try to repair as much as what they can, and try to salvage everything they can out of this race.
And 2 more drivers, as you were just talking there, have expired from tonight's event. 2 guys involved in that wreck. The number 4, the 44, Chad Lang, and the number 7 of Wayne Grossi, officially done. They're going to be finishing in 14th and 15th place as long as Tony Slaughter can get back on the track and get his car repaired. If not, he's currently sitting at 14th. So that's going to leave the total of 8 to 9 cars expired tonight, depending on if Slaughter can get the thing fired back up. That's a good chunk of the field. That's just over a third of the field entirely. And with this long run here, Ryan Hedrick just expired as well, so he's out. So that's going to be close to half the field going to be out, especially in that wreck when you had 5 cars, just heavy impact, and all of them looks like the repairs were just too extent for the amount of laps left in this event. So that really shortens up the field, Dustin.
Yeah, it really does, and that's the 44 of Chris Beck. He stated his teammate, the 4 of Chad Lang, on there, but it does. It takes a lot of. I mean, that's a big chunk of the field right there that was taken out in one incident, and I mean the drivers were just trying to do what they could to stay out of it and get away. But again, I mean that shakes up the top 10 once more because Josh Johnson was up there. You see, he's coming down pit road again to try to get some repairs done to that machine, but I mean it's looking more like an open wheel modified. The more that he comes down there, he's missing the entire front bumper clip of that, the hood and everything else. So I don't know how well that's going to hold up as far as 10th or if anybody else can do it. I mean, that car there, especially with the front clip off of it, there has to be some engine damage, radiator damage on that as well. It's a safe bet he's probably going to be down some RPMs. So again, top 10 is going to be shaken up.
You don't need a radiator when you got the whole front nose of the thing wide open. You got enough airflow to keep that thing cool, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, he was actually putting on some strong runs there toward that last run or so before that wreck happened, and it's just you hate to see it. These guys are just wrong place, wrong time, and Wayne Grossi especially. He got involved in that wreck with the 67, was none of his doing really. And then he comes back on the track. He misses that big wreck on the back stretch that just happened about 5 laps ago. Was way down on that apron, and then they just came back down. I think it was the 47 and collected them, sent them back up on the track. And a couple of these guys, man, just such bad luck here so far. Kind of put a damper on their teams. And these guys, they prepare. This is one of the bigger events of the year. As you said earlier, it's the crown jewel, no matter if it's real life or in the sim world. But pace car is down, so let's actually focus back on this restart here. Let's see if we can get a long green flag run this time. That number 23 is starting in 6th place. He gained 3 spots since that restart. He's that guy with the 5 laps fresher tires than everybody else, and he already gained 3 spots in that short run, so let's see if he can maybe catch that 15.
Yeah, as the 15 right now, Nicholas Moreau, excellent start as he's been on points all night long on those restarts. His teammate, the 25, and Matthew Tremblay, falls into second, but right now under a lot of pressure from the 19 of Richie Coy, that first Fury Motorsports driver there. We've seen he was coming on strong in that midline there before that last caution. But talk about Jonathan Varnaskis, again, the only Rumble Racing driver out there currently right now, running in the top 5, and he's been keeping up with these drivers quite a bit, Jeremy.
Yeah, he's been doing great. We haven't seen too much of him last season as far as being inside the top 5, but there he is in a new paint scheme with a really fast setup. That black and purple combination with the flat color is also a great combination, side note there. But he gets a great run here off of turn number 4, a little loose. He's actually going to gain a lot of ground on the 19 Richie Coy. Looks like he's still just a little bit tight here. Entering turn number 1, he's nose to tail with that 27. Let's see if he can maybe crack himself into the top 3.
And that's exactly what he's trying to do right now. Another driver to talk about is that driver right behind him, putting pressure on him, that 75 of Chuck Sweeting. This guy here is driving without a hood. That hood is completely gone, but it does not look like it is phasing him one bit as he's really putting some pressure on. You see that behind the far chase from the front back there. You can see that engine compartment there. And the driver that you had mentioned, Jeremy, that 23, the driver with 5 laps fresher tires, is lurking right back there in the shadows, ready to pounce.
Shout out to iRacing for not putting a single amount of detail on that engine cover there. It's just painted flat black. You can't tell what's there. We know it's that engine cover, but there's no shading even. It's just a black piece of something. But that 23, there he is on the inside of the 75 here. He's looking to get inside the top 5 with that 23 Fury Motorsports. Second car in Fury Motorsports to be inside. Oh, 23 actually gets loose in the middle of 1 and 2, and it's going to allow the 75 to take back that 5th place.
Yeah, it looks like the 23 might have got a little bit more of that apron than what he was wanting there. A little bit of a bobble allowed the 75 of Sweeting to take that position back. So 5th place secured by Chuck Sweeting for the moment as the 23 Brody Hanna gathers himself back up to try to take another stab at it, Jeremy.
Yeah, he's got the faster car for sure with those fresher tires. Plus, he has his hood, so the aerodynamic advantage is on his side. He will be back there contending, but he's got to fight a little bit of that looseness right now the 23 has. Haven't seen that too much from him in the middle part of this race. We got 70 laps to go this time around. We got one more green flag pit stop, so it looks like he's got that car kind of corrected. A little more free, which is what 75 has, or did have rather. For that long run, you want that car to be a little free because the thing gets tight. We talked to Richie Coy. That thing was substantially tight, was his quote. It was not good for him as he kept falling back and back and back. So you need that car a little bit free, and so the 23 setting himself up for a good long run here.
Absolutely is. Again, he's still sitting here and trying to chase down that 75. I'm just surprised at how well the 75 is keeping up again. With not having hood, but yeah, shout out again to iRacing on the lack of detail on the engine cover on that. It's just as flat black. You got nothing there. We know what it is, but yeah, again, I'm just surprised at that. Is back up at the front. Nicholas Moreau still leading the way with his teammate Matthew Tremblay in tail right now. About 2 car lengths separate those two, and then you have about 4 car lengths separate Tremblay from third place runner right now. That 19 of Richie Coy.
As you see these guys come down the front stretch, love to give a quick shout out to the Butt Kicker, the official audio enhancement provider for the Nerditudes. Brings you that much needed feel in your seat from the sim rig. Essentially, it's like a transducer that attaches to any center post of your chair that you're sitting in, and it gives you all the bumps and feels from the track directly into your seat. You're going to go to thebuttkicker.com, Nerd TV at checkout for 20% off anything you purchase from the Butt Kicker. And you guys have single filed out all the way back through the field, Dustin. I don't see a single car side by side, though. We have almost half the field eliminated so far. Tough to see, especially with the long event, too, but they're really spaced out at the moment.
Yeah, as you see this shot going down the backstretch, I mean, you're looking right now at the top 7 just nose to tail in line. Spaced out a little bit, roughly about 4 car lengths in between each one, so they're definitely getting set into that long haul there. Do want to shout out on the chats, Dean Gear did give a good luck to all the competitors out there, so again, thanks for that as well. Some of the drivers definitely could have used a little bit more of the luck on their side, especially drivers such as Wayne Grossi in that 7. Tough break. Just in the wrong place at the wrong time, but such is the way of racing, Jeremy.
Shout out to Dean Gear. He's behind the scenes. You haven't really heard that name much, but he has been with Full Throttle Sim Racing for a little bit, doing some behind the scenes stuff. So shout out to you, man, coming out in the chat saying good luck to everybody that's out there left over. I see this 23 trying to make another stab around the 75 this time in turn number 1 and 2. It looks like the 75 still able to get a great launch off of turn number 2, though. I thought Brody had it entering that corner, but the 75 still not giving it up. And actually, they're coming up on that 27, Dustin, for the 4th place.
Yeah, which is surprising with the way that these two drivers are duking it out like that side by side, but they are closing in on the 27 of Varnaskis right now. So this is going to turn from a 2-car battle for that position to a 3-car battle. Luce is a 75, able to save it though. Excellent save, but he will lose that position to the 23, as well as a position to the 14 of Lane Allen.
Lane Allen, that Mountain Dew car we have not mentioned really, other than the gridding of this race. Now found himself here in 6th place. Yeah, he found himself in 6th place here. The farthest he's ran up in the field so far this evening, coming through lap 138 this time by. 4 spots from his 10th spot starting place. Great run for him. He's been able to stay clear of all the wrecks for the most part. I think it was involved slightly on that last one, but it didn't affect him much at all. The car still looks pretty darn clean. And he's run some pretty competitive lap times, Dustin.
Yeah, definitely is. I do want to shout out to you. You talked about moving up. Some of the biggest movers of the race tonight. Running in 10th right now. You see him on your screen. Steve Loomis up 12 positions from his initial starting position. Tied only by the driver of that number 27, the only Rumble Racing driver out there running in 4th, Jonathan Varnaskis, up 12 positions as well. And the next closest 2 drivers to them is Matthew Tremblay, running in 2nd, up 9 positions. And Joshua Johnson running in 9th with that highly modified next-gen car, up 9 positions from his initial starting spot.
Yeah, started 18th, and he was up there mixing up in the top 5. Had an impressive run going. Unfortunately, he has converted his car to a modified, and has really slowed down that 57 for sure. But due to the fact that a lot of people have wrecked out at tonight's event, it definitely qualifies him inside the top 10. So, to be still up 8 to 9 positions minimally here, still pretty impressive, all considering what his car looks like.
Oh, I could not agree more with that statement. Anytime you can see a car like that, still pushing it, still giving it his all, as long as that engine can sit here and really push for it, that's going to be the good thing. Right now, battle for 3rd positions. You see the 27 of Varanaskis on the inside of Richie Coys. They go into turn 3 right now. You're going to credit that position to the 27 of Varanaskis. Will take that over, mark the 27 up into the top 3 for tonight. The 19 does fall back and looks like he's going to go to the clutches of his Fury Motorsports teammate right now, Brody Hanna again, but Brody's got 5-lap newer tires than a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, sets himself up now for a good run here. Gets into turn number 3, does clear that 19, puts himself inside the top 5. That car's not done. He's only 3.3 back of these leaders. If he's able to keep that long run going, he's got something here. The 14 actually is going to be putting some pressure on the 19, as Richie Coy maybe fall back to 7th place here shortly.
Yeah, something is not right with that gear wrench number 19 Ford Mustang right now. Since the start of the drop of the green flag on this last restart, Jeremy, he has slowly fallen back right now. So the car definitely not handling to the liking of our in-race reporter right now, Richie Coy. As you see a good run right now. 14 Elaine Allen looking to put his nose on the inside. Battle right now for the 5th position. This is a top 5 battle right now between the 14 of Lane Allen and the 19 of Richie Coy.
Nose to nose, Chuck switting right behind him saying, hey, I like this, keep it up. But the 14 is able to clear Richie Coy in the exit of turn number 4, or 2 rather. Lane Allen does resume now inside the top 5 for the first time this evening for that 14. Oh, we got a spin. Nope, just some tire smoke. Still see it. 27, crazy loose, able to save it. Excellent job by the 27.
That is deserving of a replay on that one there. He fought that thing all the way through turns 3 and 4 to keep it going. I mean, that was a hell of a save. That was that looks something more reminiscent of an Eldora dirt slide through 1 and 2.
Justin, he was wrecked. He wrecked that thing in 3, and then he didn't. And then he wrecked it in 4, and he still didn't. You're going to see here just snaps loose. Those tires just not forgiving at all.
You can see him working that throttle too, man. You see that backfire coming out of the exhaust. I mean, he was working that throttle. Excellent save by the 27 of Varanaskis.
He was doing everything in his power, and it worked. That was super impressive stuff. It did cost him some time for sure and some tire wear, but man, that impressive job by that 27.
Yeah, so back up front, right now, Nicholas Moreau has just put a space right now, 3.3 seconds back to second place, his teammate of Matthew Tremblay. Again, he's picking up right where he left off on that. I mean, you see that distance right there. That red car back there on your live feed, that is your second place runner right now, and the teammate to your current race leader here, Nicholas Moreau. That is the closest person to him for position.
Yeah, and you got another second and a half, and you're going to find that 14 who's in 3rd place right now. 7 places up from his original starting place in 10th. Lane Allen's been doing pretty solid, I would say. He's matching the lap times of your race leader right now, at least the past couple laps. So that 14 has found something late in this run.
Yeah, it definitely has. Again, a lot of the other drivers had to check up there. The biggest benefactor of that one was the 14 of Lane Allen. He was able to get around the 27 of Varanaskis when he got loose with that amazing bit of driving skill there to save that car. Looks like the rest of the drivers, starting with Brody Hanna, Richie Coy, and Sweeting, had to check up a little bit. So a little bit of space in between the 14 and 23 right now.
And as these guys kind of figure out where they're going to be, we still have one more green flag stop to go. But until we get there, I'd like to kick it over to our second and final commercial break for this evening to give one more visual thanks to all of our sponsors out there in the Nerd TV world. So stay tuned. We're going to go side by side. We'll be back with you in a few short minutes.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and e-NASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
Screen coverage for the Nerd TV broadcast of the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series for the Mach1 Performance Cup Series here on Monday nights. And coming back, it looks like everyone's still really just spaced out, kind of just settling in here for the last 44 laps of this event for the longest race for the entire year for the Full Throttle Sim Racing League.
Yeah, again, crown jewel, getting that knocked out right away, but it's always good because this is not only an endurance race for the drivers, as you can tell, it's an endurance race for their setups, it's an endurance race for their equipment. So this really pushes and tests the boundaries of a lot of these drivers. One person that I can tell you is probably going to really look forward to it, you see him on your screen right now, for this race to be over with, is going to be the 19 of Richie Coy. Again, since the drop of the green flag on this last most recent restart, he has fallen back, has now lost a spot to the 75 of Chuck Sweeting in that modified car there, missing the hood. So he has fallen back to 6th spot. So again, not the typical performance we see. As we're talking about him, peels down pit road along with the 25 of Matthew Tremblay. This right here will be your final pit stops, green flag pit stops of this race, as we are coming up to 40 laps left in this race right now, Jeremy.
Yeah, this exactly splits the pit strategy here. You know, they pitted, what was it, about 40 laps ago, 30 laps ago, and this is right down the middle here. Get their last stop out of the way. You see your race leader, Nicholas Moreau, gives up that lead to take his pit stop, the final one for him for the green flag stop anyways. It's going to move Lane Allen temporarily up to your race lead, and we should see everyone else starting to follow suit here real shortly.
Yeah, as you've seen, Chuck Sweeting was also following the 15 of Moreau down pit road. So as you said, that moves the 14 of Lane Allen up to the race lead, the 23 of Brody Hanna, who we want to remind everybody out there watching that Brody Hanna is on 5 lap fresher tires than everybody else, so he can stretch it a little longer. As you see, Lane Allen on the 14 gives the race lead up to come down to the service of his crew, now putting the 23 of Brody Hanna at the point.
I don't see him extending this thing out much longer because the tires need so much here. If he continues to be on track, that's over, I think, right around a second of disadvantage every single lap. And with being just at 40 laps left, there's not too much time to make that ground back up. But he's able to stick it out one more lap here as he comes off turn number 4. Does not go in for that final stop here. 23 is still in the point, about 10 seconds over everybody else.
Yeah, I could see him sticking it out about another 3, maybe 4 laps, just because he has that's that buffer he had of fresher tires and everybody else. But I'm like you, Jeremy. I wouldn't stick it out any more than that because, like you said, that's seconds on the track that you're going to be losing on that one there. But if played right, Brody Hanna could definitely maximize this, as it looks like he's peeling off right now, coming down pit road, coming in hot, as you see him smoking them up there, coming to the cone.
Man, that was the fastest entrance in the pit road I've seen tonight, and he was able to get down to speed. What an excellent stop there by Brody Hanna. Going to maximize his time. Efficiency. He's going to come down to his crew as long as he doesn't overshoot this pit stall dust, and he has a great chance to resume basically close to the race lead.
Yeah, and he nails his pit stop right now, right in the stall, so he could definitely maximize this, as I think he was probably about the most aggressive driver coming into pit road like that, getting it down to speed, locking him up right at the line as he is back off again. So as things cycle through right now, the 37 of Brian Dublé is your current race leader right now, followed by the 57 of Josh Johnson. And yes, the same Josh Johnson that is running an open wheel modified right now.
Yep, and 17 looks like he's calling his shots. He's going to come down pit road, I think, this time by. Seeing him blow up, he does so. We're going to see a lot of these other guys that are left, probably in the next lap or two, making that last pit stop, because you don't want to get caught out there. But that 57, this is a strategy call. You want to maximize the thing. The car's obviously not at its peak performance, right? So just maximize it, run that thing out of gas, and then make that pit stop, just to hope that you can catch a caution.
Yeah, it's definitely a good call, and it's the right call at this point in time, especially with what Josh Johnson is dealing with right now with that heavily damaged machine. And it could still play out to his favor on that one, because you still don't know what could happen as far as a caution. I mean, right now we're sitting at 35 laps left to go in this event, as Brian Dublé still leads the way in the Charlotte 300 here in the Mach1 Performance Cup Series. So we'll have to see what's going on. I mean, we know that the 57 of Josh Johnson's got a top 10 locked in. He's just trying to maximize the most amount of points and try to gain the most amount of positions that he possibly can.
Yeah, for sure. And Brian Dublé staying out, trying to also maximize this time as well. We know he does not have the race-winning setup and the race-winning car, especially with a little bit of damage there on that left side of that car, that 37. So I think he's going to try to maximize everything he can out here and put at the very last moment to see if maybe he can catch a break as well to put himself in a decent position.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because we know the 37 had speed. I mean, he qualified second on the grid for this event. Again, was just like a lot of those other drivers in the wrong place at the wrong time. There he found himself wrapped up in one of those on-track incidents there, and that's where that damage came from. So again, drivers are playing point strategy right now, Jeremy. which is not uncommon for these veteran drivers here at Full Throttle Sim Racing. They're looking long-term down the road, 13-point races later. They want to try to maximize those points.
Shout out to Tony Solari, 50 laps down, back on the racing surface for the first time since being involved in that wreck with that 44 halfway through the event. He's got 2 cars to pass, Ryan Hedrick and Wayne Grossi. Only 5 laps separate them, so 5 more laps ran here, and he's going to pick up 2 spots, and that's going to basically all but cover what he has lost for tonight. It's going to move him up to 12th place. So him coming back on track is actually a positive thing. It's going to give him 2 positions, even though he's so far back, being 51 laps down.
Yeah, but again, it's the points. I mean, that's 2 positions right there. That's 2 additional points, 1 for each position that he'll gain. And you got to look at the positive side. By the time he passes Hedrick, who has already packed the car up and left the track, and he's probably sitting up in the stands enjoying an adult beverage and a hot dog or whatnot, but that's going to put Tony Solari finishing 1 position better than where he started the race.
Yeah, definitely going to be getting a drink from the Fruit Punch Bowl, that's for sure. 37 still running out there. You got him on your screen right now. Still extending it. How much further can they run? I'm not too sure how much fuel is left in that tank. But Nicholas Moreau, the fast guy on the track, 6.8 seconds back and all in the mail. He's going to be up to him here real shortly. So maybe we'll see him pit right after the race leader or the race contender's going to get around him. But it's going to be a few more laps, Dustin, before he gets there.
Yeah, it's going to be a few more laps. And on screen right now, that's one of the added features. You can actually see some of the pit strategies and the amount of laps that these drivers have on their tires right now. So you see that, Johnson and Dublé both have roughly about the same amount of laps on their set of tires that they have right now. But sitting in second place right now, Nicholas Moreau, you see that real small yellow. That's because he's got fresh tires. So, I mean, he's going to be coming at this point in time. The question is when do the 37 and the 57 hit pit road so that they don't turn this this possible gain into a loss?
I think Dublé pits when Moreau gets to him. Joshua Johnson did get passed by Moreau just last lap, so I expect him to maybe come down here real shortly as well. You see the 15 right there on the same straightaway now as that 37, only separated by that number 11 who's badly injured right now, just ticking laps away. But I think that's the call. I think if I'm sitting in that 37 driver's seat right now, I pit whenever that 15 gets to me.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I mean, that's going to maximize the most amount of potential you can on this one here. I would even, depending on how conservative you do, the 37 comes down pit road, I may do it a little sooner than that, rather than right when he gets up to me or right around me like that. But I mean, either way, right now that 15 is on a rail. As you're sitting, the first truck that can contend right now, you see that Tremblay did pass Johnson for that 4th position. But, I mean, right now Moreau still has a 4-second lead over Tremblay.
These are some interesting looking trucks for sure. They're just 1.3 separated on this last time by. It looks like they're going to be basically nose to tail coming to the start finish line this time. As they're side by side at 37, checks up, lets the 11 by. And here comes that 15 going around the 37 for the race lead.
New leader again. Well, we've seen him lead before, but he's back in the lead once again. This is, again, Jeremy, I would suspect, your call is going to be accurate. I would see the 37 come down to pit road within the next couple laps.
I mean, that's what I do anyways. Your race lead, it's all but gone now. So you're just out there trying to maximize your position at this point because you're not going to win. So you have to pit. You have to come down. So as long as you stay out there, the tires are much more worn and you're really slow. The worst he could finish is 8th place. That's where Richie Coy actually is currently sitting 9.2 back from your race leader. That car is still struggling with some tightness. But him and Lane Allen too, who was up to 2nd, 3rd that one point in time, sitting there in 8th place or 7th place right now. Just kind of a little bit of a late run struggle here.
Yeah, and again, it's not something that we are accustomed to see. We typically don't see Richie Coy struggle like that, especially the defending series champion. I don't know. Maybe it could be the sophomore slump, Jeremy. It's happened to a lot of champions before. They have a stellar season, and the next season out, it doesn't. They just struggle to hit some of those marks again. As you see, the 14 of Lane Allen and the 19 of Richie Coy past Josh Johnson, pushing him back to that 8th position right now. So move Allen up to 6th and Coy up to 7th.
I always find Charlotte Motor Speedway to myself mentally as like an expedition race, even though it's not. It's such an awesome venue to race at, and really fast and really racy. I don't know, with the All-Star being here for so long, and just had the All-Star weekend a week ago, I almost feel like this thing is like an expedition race. But I'm sure next week Richie Coy is going to be put some extra work in that shop to match that speed of the 15 and the 25, even the 75 for that matter, because I know he wants to get back up there and contend to go back-to-back in the series.
Yeah, I mean, and who could blame you at that point in time? I mean, who doesn't want to win? That's why these guys are out here. They all want to win. But unfortunately, there can only be one winner. And right now, the 15 of Nicholas Moreau is putting himself in the best position possible to be that one winner for tonight's race, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing. But right now, you see the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. Again, no hood on that car whatsoever. And the 23 of Brody Hanna, still close proximity here, but it looks like they're trying to chase down the 37 of Brian Dublé right now, which would move Chuck Sweeting amazingly with that damage on that car up to the top 3 podium positions.
And Brody Hanna with those fresher tires is there. He's got a few more laps, and I think he's going to be to that back bumper, that 75, as long as we go green the rest of the way. Pending Brody was able to save those tires, He has got that advantage. Let's see if he can close out the last 20 laps of this 200-lap race. Maybe get himself into that top 3, because we know that 37, I'm pretty sure, has to pit, and he's also really slow as well. So you see the 75 actually going below the 37 right now on the front stretch. That's going to move him back to 4th and in 5th place whenever Brody gets to him, which will be probably next lap most likely. But yeah, I feel like Brody has a good, solid chance here, maybe getting into that podium position.
Yeah, again, 20 laps, a lot can happen in 20 laps right now. As you see the 37 going way high, giving plenty of room for Brody down on that inside lane, knowing that he is off pace with everybody having fresher tires like that. And he's not battling any other driver side by side for position or anything else, so can definitely give that room. So Mark Brody Hanna up to 4th place right now, where he's going to continue his pursuit to try to chase down that 75. But a lot of distance. Chuck was able to pull a little bit more distance in between himself and Brody there, as it seems like Chuck had a better time passing the 37 of Dublé there than what Brody Hanna did. Brody did it right in the corner there. Chuck was able to do it through the quad oval there, didn't have to really alter his line or anything else, where Brody Hanna's been running around that midline or so. So, a little bit of extra space in between there. That's going to play to Chuck Sweeting's advantage there, again, with 18 laps to go.
Yeah, keep an eye out, too, on that 25 at 2nd place. He's only 2 seconds ahead of Chuck Sweeting and Brody Hanna here. And Chuck Sweeting, the past few laps, has been slightly faster than Tremblay. So with being 17 laps to go this time around, there could be a small chance that we see Chuck Sweeting try to run down that 25 to take home 2nd place. So I wouldn't put that fully out of the question yet, as Brody's actually kind of fallen back a little bit from Chuck since we mentioned him about maybe having a chance here. So maybe Brody in that 23 did use up a little bit more of those good years than he would have liked. And Chuck Sweeting's he's always good for the long run. He's always solid and likes to contend on the long runs. Him and Richie Coy have done this for so long last season, just over and over and over again. So it would not surprise me if we see him get to Matthew Tremblay before this race is over.
Yeah, and he's hitting his marks. And from the time that pit stops happen, you're talking 40 laps. So, even if he runs the car the way that he ran it at the initial start to this event, it was right at that 40 lap mark when his car started going south and it started kicking out. So he's right in that time frame, in that window, to where he can drive it the way that he did at the start of the race when he picked up a lot of those positions.
Yeah, for sure. And Tremblay's actually the past couple laps has kind of matched the 75. So Maybe he's just kind of backing up his run a little bit. I'll keep my eye out on that. But right now, just 2 seconds separate that number 25 and 75. Brody Hanna falls to 1 seconds back of that 75 Chuck Sweeting. And Brody's car looking strong, but it's definitely, I think his tires have been used up just a little bit. And actually, Chuck 0.2 faster over Tremblay that time by. So they keep tossing those times up back and forth.
Yeah, it's almost just like Chuck Sweeting and Richie Coy from last season. You know, one gains one lap and then loses the next lap. That seems like that's going to be the way of the game here between Tremblay and Sweeting. But, I mean, both of these drivers trying to, Tremblay trying to stay out front of the 75 trying to chase them down. These drivers are both chasing down that race leader right there. Nicholas Moreau, who has stretched it out over 7 seconds over second place. So with 13 laps to go, Nicholas Moreau has put himself in an excellent position right now to walk away with the season opener win.
I would imagine Nicholas gave some tips with that setup that they built together, but I think Moreau kind of put his own little spice on his own setup there at the last moment, and this is why he's able to be over 7 seconds ahead of his teammate, running the Moreau Motorsports, putting on some excellent times here to open up this season. And I think Nicholas is, I think he threw a little extra spice, a little extra seasoning in his setup to really just drive it out there and comfortably lead this thing with 11 laps to go this time.
Yeah, 11 laps to go. 11 laps remaining in the Charlotte 300, the longest race of this season that these drivers do. And right now it is being led by that 15 and Nicholas Moreau, the 25, his teammate, Matthew Tremblay, trying to chase him down as well as trying to secure his second place spot to give Moreau Racing a 1-2 power punch finish for the season opener. But Tremblay is not out of it just yet, as that 75 of Chuck Sweeting is trying his damnedest to chase him down to try to put a car split in between that Moreau Racing duo.
Yeah, watching the times, they're still 10th here, 10th there, bouncing back and forth. So still 2 seconds separate second and third place with just 10 laps to go this time. So at this current rate, there's going to be no position swaps here unless something drastically happens between one of these guys. Brody Hanna's fallen back to 1.6 back of Chuck Sweeting. So it looks like his car is all but out of the podium running here. Lane Allen still 1 second back of Brody Hanna, essentially. Closing in just a little bit on him, but everyone for the most part, that 5th and 6th is really the only battle on the track. They're only half a second rather from each other. That being Lane Allen and Richie Coy.
Yeah, and that's a pivotal one. Richie got real close to that turn 2 wall on that exit, but that's a pivotal position because that right there is a position for the top 5, held by Lane Allen right now. Richie Coy wants that top 5. We talk about statistics. And statistically last season, I mean, the drivers that finished best statistically had those top 5s and top 10s quite a bit. So starting the season off with the top 5, I mean, could be monumental to some of these drivers. So that's a pivotal point right now. But it looks like Lane Allen stretching it out a little bit there as he gets just a little light there and has to go down half a lane coming off of turn 2, but putting a little bit more distance in between him and Richie Coy as he's trying to chase down that 23.
Yeah, top 5 is definitely one of those stats that the Sim Racing Points especially likes to keep track of. So you definitely want to finish top 5. That's an extra column stat. 6th and 5th, they don't record 6 so much as 5th. You can't see that. You see the top 10, but when you see a top 5 finish, it definitely shows up as more of like, hey, look, this guy's actually pretty good. Top 10 is, that's so-so, but top 5 is like, okay, this guy's pretty good. You see 75 passing that lap down car, Tony Solari, exiting turn number 4 this time, and the sun's gone down essentially, Dustin. I know we're coming down to the very end of this thing. Look, the track lights, I would think, are almost about ready to kick on as this track's starting to get a little gloomy.
Yeah, I would expect them to kick on. I don't know if they would, though. 6 laps left in this race here. I mean, we possibly could finish this race out without the actual track lamps kicking on or just kicking on right at the tail end. So, again, that 75 of Sweeting still trying to chase down Tremblay. But, that 3-car battle right now is Brody Hanna is leading it right now, but he is being chased close and tail by the 14 of Lane Allen, and right close behind Lane Allen is the 19 of Richie Coy. So that's right here could be probably one of the few battles that could potentially swap and change positions before the end of this race here in 5 laps.
Lane Allen's made a good charge here to try to make anything happen for him to maybe get himself into 4th place. But Richie Coy's not giving up. He's still 0.4 back off that 14. So these guys just keep closing each other a little bit. We got 4 laps to go before they figure out who's going to get that podium or the 3rd, 4th, and 5th place here.
Yeah, and again, those 4 laps are, I mean, they're going to tick down, and they're going to tick down fast. It's not going to take that long. Right now, the only person that is free and in the clear is going to be that 15 of Moreau, again, who is, I mean, he stretched a lead out big time right now, and he has no pressure around him at all. Tremblay still has pressure and still has to hit all his marks as he's got Sweeting kind of, breathing down his neck, and then these 3 drivers we talked about, they got to be on point.
Yeah, the closing 3 laps left here in this Charlotte 300. You got to hit your marks. I know it's been a long race, but kind of hold your own here. Lane Allen right now holding that pivotal top 5. Richie Coy has gone back to just 0.2 off of him. So if he can get 0.1 the next lap or 2, he might be close. Oh, Richie gets a little loose off at turn number 4. Gonna maybe slow his run up here as they are now at 2 laps to go. And these guys are really closing in on each other.
Yeah, these guys are closing in right now. Tremblay still has breathing room between himself and Chuck Sweeting. Barring anything happening with those two drivers look like they are going to finish right where they are at. But right now, the story of the night is that 15 of Nicholas Moreau, as he has taken the white flag coming off turn 2 for the final lap of tonight's event. As you can see on your screen, no pressure around him whatsoever. Easy glide through 3 and 4. The 15 of Nicholas Moreau is going to come off turn 4. Your race winner for the Charlotte 300, the season opener here for the Mach1 Performance Cup Series, is the driver of that 15, Nicholas Moreau.
Ease Web Pro Chevrolet Camaro finds victory lane for the first time in the season opener and in his debut for the Full Throttle Sim Racing League. Excellent performance there by that team from Moreau Racing as they go 1 and 2. 3rd place, Chuck Sweeting rounds out the 3rd place for the podium. And what a race for that team to come out here and just put on a dominant performance.
Oh, and that's exactly what every team wants. Lucy Jean in the chats, we want to shout out, says, good job, Moreau Motorsports. Number 1, Nicholas Moreau. Number 2, Matthew Tremblay with the little red heart before that number 1. So again, the fan base is out there for Moreau Motorsports of both drivers, Moreau and Tremblay. As you see him burn it down, and well-deserved is the 15. Again, your race winner for the Charlotte 300. And your unofficial results presented by Sim Racing Points, Nicholas Moreau.
Yeah, he takes home all the glory tonight as we run down that order for you. Tremblay does finish in 2nd place. Chuck Sweeting gets that last podium position in 3rd. Brody Hanna, 4th place. Lane Allen does come home with the top 5. 6th place, Richie Coy. Everybody else 1 lap down or further back. 7th place, Brian Dublé. 8th place, Steve Loomis. 9th, Joshua Johnson. And to round out the top 10, Chris Beck.
Yeah, Tony Solari does bring it home in 11th, so he was able to pass both Grassi and Hendrick, and was able to pass Varanaskis as well to gain 2 spots from his initial starting spot. Varanaskis will finish 12th, 13th, Ryan Hendrick, 14th, Wayne Grassi. Again, tough break for both of those drivers. Chad Lang finishes in 15th position. Matthew Vachon finishes 16th, 17th goes to James Wallace, 18th. Alex Murphy, 19th, to Martin Garreau. Finishing and rounding out your top 20 in that 55 is Jonathan Vachon. 21 goes to Gil Gawk. And rounding out your field, first car that was out after a hard impact coming off of turn 2 is the 18 of Brian Bliss.
And this does open up the Martin Sports post-race show presented by, of course, martinsports906.com. And I think we have some people to talk to, at least one that's ready. Mr. Chuck Sweeting is available. first and second. We're waiting for them to get out of their cars and get into the appropriate channels so we can possibly get a word with those guys, because I would love to chat with them. Let's see if we can get Mr. Sweeting in here with us in the Nerd TV booth. Mr. Sweeting, got a copy?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, man, congratulations on that hard-fought third-place podium spot. I know you got involved in that wreck, took your hood away, but I don't know how you did it, man. How are you able to come home in third place with no hood?
I think that might have just been a visual glitch in the system because I only had 10 seconds of damage and I couldn't see any damage out my windshield. But then as I got in my pit stall and it started fixing it, all of a sudden a bunch of damage popped up. So I think it was just a little bit of a glitch there. But either way, I had to work hard for that. And, congrats to Moreau Racing. They just dominated the field tonight. And I hate that I think I took out one of their guys when I lost it there. But yeah, tough race, long race, but happy to come home third.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, we seen that incident happen on screen live, and we thought for sure, I was calling it out that you had it saved, and just wasn't able to do that. But I mean, were you battling a loose car a lot of the race? Because it seemed like the first 30 laps or so, I mean, you were passing people and moving up the field, and then it just seemed like it hit a point where it seemed like it really wanted to drive off that right rear.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If you abused it too much early, which is kind of what I was doing, then all of a sudden it would hit a point. I guess the tires would reach a temperature where it would just spin out as you entered the corner, and oh man, that was tough. And it took me about 120 laps to figure out how to drive the car, and then once I did, then I was kind of okay after that, except for that one little incident off of two. But yeah, it was tough. It's a tough race.
Yeah, another question to you as well is you're one of the few people that have really explored the upper half of the track. A lot of people ran down to that white line at the bottom, but you, I think, half the race, at least especially in the middle of the race, found yourself on the second groove running right on that seam that Dustin was calling out time and time again. Is that where your car felt the most comfortable until you figured out exactly how your car was able to run around this place?
Yeah, it was a little bit less of a risk of it snapping loose up there. The only problem is after a while it would get a little bit too tight. So, if I'd have had the car a little bit freer, then it might have worked out really well for me up there. But yeah, there was a point in the race where it was really fast for me, and then it would kind of go away after a while, and I had to go back to the bottom.
All right, well, you found the way to get home in third place. So congratulations once again. Before you head on out, I know you got people watching possibly on Nerd TV. Any shout outs you'd love to give out there to the world?
Just thanks to everyone that supports me, the work that the league does, and the supporters of the league. And, congrats to Matthew and their team. They did an awesome job, and we'll try to get a little bit better and get them next time.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and celebrate with the team on your awesome, hard-fought third place.
All right, thanks a lot.
And that was your third place finisher, Mr. Chuck Sweeting. And it looks like we have second place, Matthew Tremblay, available for his second place interview. Mr. Tremblay, you got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Hey, man, congratulations. That run was super impressive. Looks like your new team here. It's kind of revamped here with 4 guys on the team and definitely showed some excellent speed. What kind of what kind of work did you guys do on the offseason to get your guys set up for an awesome run here at Charlotte?
Yeah, we work really hard all week long. I have to give the credit to Nick, Matt, and Joe. They work really hard this week. But we race in a league in Quebec, Canada in the winter, so we take a break on the summer. So it's like to keep the end and keep racing for the summer. So we race a lot together since 1 year. We are together, so we used to work together, and we work really well together. So it's really nice, and we have a really nice group here. So really love to be with this guy and pay off tonight.
I would definitely say it paid off tonight. It's always good. I mean, if you guys are used to running with each other, I mean, why not sit here and form up a team and really put those resources together? And you guys showed it tonight. I mean, top 2 finish for Moreau Racing. I mean, that's a fantastic finish right out of the gate for the season opener. Do you feel that you would have had anything for Nicholas there towards the final stages there? I mean, he had a pretty good league there, and on the backside, were you worried about the 75 of Chuck Sweeney maybe trying to chase you down?
No, I think Nick was in another league tonight. So he was really fast. Um, that sucked for Matt. I think Matt Vachon was maybe faster than me, so he deserved a podium. But this is racing. Shit happens. But yeah, Chuck was really fast. I was really impressed with the after the crashes that he keep this kind of speed. I have my my eyes on all the time on the relative and look at the time that he did, and I was really impressed. And I I have to keep a look on him all race long after his race. He was really fast.
Yeah, no, definitely. And he did great. He came in here in the season to kick off the opener. Just dominant performance. He had to pass some guys. He did start 11th. He ended up in second. So that alone is a super impressive stat. Able to come home in second place with your teammate leading the way basically the entire way around. Anyone out there that's possibly watching Nerd TV that love to give a shout out to?
Yeah, well, salute my father, always there for look at my race, and I will thanks my sponsor, Apex Inspection, Lassie Sport, Grill Mobile, Transit, Easy Wepo, and La Voix Équipement Agricole. Thank you to you guys and all the admin of the league. Really good job out there.
Yeah, appreciate those words, man. Congratulations once again. Go ahead and celebrate with the team. And we're going to go ahead and let you go and bring in your team leader here who has won the race.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
And that was your second place finisher, Matthew Tremblay. And Nicholas Murrow looks like he came in at the last moment to have a word with us. So we're going to welcome into the booth. Nick, you got a copy? Nick, this is Jeremy in the Nerd TV booth. You got a copy? Looks like a little bit of a technical difficulties on his end. We're gonna try to close out this thing and maybe have his radio fixed before we get this thing all squared away. Dustin, final thoughts on this race tonight being the longest event of the year?
I tell you what, it was a long event. I mean, wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, I know these things are grueling for the drivers, or grueling for broadcasters, producers, and everything else. But I mean, overall, I mean, the racing action was great. I do want to shout out to Matthew Vachon. Says, "Let's go, Moreau Motorsports. Good job." That is the driver of the 26 that unfortunately did get involved in an incident there that potentially could have set Moreau Motorsports up for a top 3 podium sweep. So again, do want to give shout outs on the chats and thank you everybody that shouted out. But overall, Jeremy, nothing less than I would expect from Full Throttle Sim Racing. I mean, top notch racing. I mean, hard racing all the way through. They battled the track, they battled the cars, they battled each other. So if this is going to be a testament to the rest of the Mach1 Performance Cup Series for the next 12 races, it's going to be a damn good season.
Absolutely. And I think we got key that Nick's mic is working. We're going to try to bring him back in to get one more shot at him. Nick, you got a copy?
Yeah, yes.
Hey, man, there we are. Congratulations on the victory for the season opener at the Charlotte 300. Your team that just revamped coming into this thing, and you just put on a clinic on these guys. Congratulations. And how did you get this team so with the 4 drivers now? You just get so well in tuned and just put on an awesome performance.
Oh yeah, well, the car was very, very good tonight, and we know each other for the team for almost more than a year now, so we can work together very well. And yeah, last week we worked. I didn't expect to be fast like that, but pretty happy for the for that speed for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially with the performance that your entire team put on, not just a single driver, but the whole team. I tell you, like Jeremy said, you come into this new season, the 2022 B season. You got a revamped team, and pending the incident that Matthew Vachon was involved in, it was an unfortunate event. But I mean, you guys were posed to have a podium sweep for Moreau Racing, for Moreau Motorsports. So I mean, it's you guys have definitely set yourself up. My question is can we expect this type of tenacity from Moreau Motorsports for the next 12 races? Because if so, this is going to be a badass season.
Yeah, we hope so. But it's a summer. Normally, we take the season off because we race on the local league all winter long. So and with the real life racing on the summer, it's hard for me, especially for me, to expect to do all season long. But the goal is to race as much as possible because we made that league last summer with the truck, and it's pretty good league and very nice to compete against them. And yeah, we'll try to race for many races.
Performance like tonight, if you can try to make all the races, you're definitely going to be in high contention there for that championship battle. If you can make all the races, of course, but real life comes first. So this is just a video game at the end of the day. So, we can only do so much on that end. But congratulations once again on the hard fought victory, keeping your car at a super high end, out of this world type of speed here compared to everybody else on the track. Anyone out there watching your TV love to give a shout out to?
Yeah, of course, I would say thanks to Transit, La Voie Équipement Agricole, Easy Web Pro, Lassie Sport. They support us in the real life and the in the sim as well. So thanks for all of them. Thank you guys for the broadcast, and thanks for the league for accepting us.
Yes, sir. Appreciate those kind words. Go ahead and celebrate with the team, man, on your victory.
Thank you guys.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. And that was Nicholas Moreau, rather, your race winner, who led probably 2/3 of that race, if not more, just with a 9.7-second victory over his teammate Tremblay for second place. Pretty crazy stat there. They just come in here and just dominate the first race. But apparently these guys have been together for a year now. They know each other pretty well, it sounds like. But we got to get this thing down to a close here. So we got to thank some people real quick before we close out tonight's broadcast for the Nerd TV broadcast. First and foremost, Full Throttle Sim Racing. Please sign up at their league, ftsr.net. Get registered to one of their 4 series that they work hard to put together each and every week. Cup, truck, you have ARCA, then you have a little fun combination on Saturday with the Lotus 79 and the Pro 4 Super Trucks. And you're going to get registered at ftsr.net. Shout out to Mach1 Performance, the Cup Series sponsor for every Monday night race this season around. Fabrication shop started by Johnny Coy Jr. Shop has produced championships and winners of all sorts throughout the SCCA and NASA to dirt and pavement oval racing. So check out Mach1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, the official Truck Series sponsor, you're going to catch every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern at Nerd TV. Points League Management System. It's an all-in-one software. Essentially, you just upload your race results to the software, and instantly, boom, you have everything fully displayed on your website in a widget form on a full-page display, whatever you need to have your league up and looking pretty professional. And you're going to go to simracingpoints.com, check out their pricing plans, get your league registered today. Quick shout out to Martin Sports. They make full customized t-shirts, hoodies, hats, gloves. Gloves especially for me, that's huge. You see them on your screen out now on your right-hand side. I got a pair myself. This is an awesome pair, but the Nerd TV ones are coming a little bit later on. Keep an eye out on that. You're going to go to martinsports906.com. Use that code, promo code NerdTV, or Super Nerd rather. You get 25% off. That's a huge discount that Scott Martin over there at Martin Sports is handing out. You don't want to miss out on that. Once again, martinsports906.com. Shout out to iRacing iFlag, official flag partner for the Nerditudes. Gives 30 different notifications that iRacing throws out, all on a little 4x6 3D printed unit. Sits on your desk and does all the jobs for you, so you keep your focus directly what's in front of you on the racing surface. Head over to iRacingiflag.com. When you purchase one of his units, you're going to get 15% off when you use Super Nerd at checkout. Buttkicker.com, the official audio enhancement provider for the Nerditudes, gives all the drivers the real life immersion that you would want in a real car brought to your sim rig. Completes the full experience actually being on the racing surface. Go to thebuttkicker.com. Use that promo code, once again, NerdTV, for 20% off everything that you purchase from there. Shout out to Moonlight Speed Concepts, your official paved setup partner for the Nerditudes. Professional setups built from the ground up to get you those much needed wins from the late model series all the way up to the next gen cup cars. You're going to go over to their Discord or follow them on Twitter, or go to their website, moonlightspeedconcepts.com. And then shout out to housespeed.us, your professional dirt setups provided for the Nerditudes. Professional setups on the dirt side is going to get you the wins in any type of dirt oval car, whether it be the big blocks to the late models, whatever you need on that end. They got your back. They're going to get you some wins. That's housespeed.us. And last, going to be the Nerd Focus. The energy drink that the nerds use at Nerd TV and at Nerditudes. Has two awesome flavors. The green is the sugar variant, and then the blue is the sugar-free variant. Both are going to get whatever you need done. I'm going to keep you mentally focused and prepared for hours on end. And you're going to go to nerdfocus.com, use promo code SUPERNERD for 10% off. That's going to bring our broadcast to the close for the longest event of the year for the Full Throttle Sim Racing League. Until then, we got Wednesday Truck Series coming at you at Gateway, so stay tuned for that. Crazy little schedule there, Dustin. We have got the little short intermediate track to follow it up with a road course, and then Knoxville Dirt. Pretty crazy little schedule. You see it on your screen now. Don't want to miss out on all the action. But until then, stay safe out there, and make sure to, as always, get your nerd on.
It's not goodbye. It's just till next time. Nerd on.